And now we will continue with our panels, and our first panel is about the process from technology transfer offices to innovation and creating a working ecosystem for high-growth startups. I would like to invite our chair and panelists to the stage, please.
Good afternoon. This is Murat Akman from Boğaziçi University Technology Transfer Office. I know it's after lunch, the humidity is in the air, it's hot, but rest assured that we have a very vibrant, hot topic with very lively presenters. We want our panel to be both informative and interactive. Informative in the sense that we have the heads of two significant business angel networks with us, one from the States, one from Europe. And we wanted them to share with us their best practices, their strategies, what works, what doesn't work. We also want our panel to be interactive because we also have two lively Turkish presenters. One is a newly established and rapidly growing business angel group of our alumni. The second is the head of the Turkish Business Angels Association, and it also happens to be our alumni. And we thank him for it's through him that we were able to have the pleasure to have these distinguished guests. So before each panelist will have 10 to 15 minutes of presentation, and we will have a Q&A session at the very end. Before further ado, Miriam.
I'll introduce myself first. My name is Mary Ann Hudson. I'm the Executive Director of the Angel Capital Association, which is the association of active angel investors in the United States and Canada. We work with about 12,000 angel investors who invest our own capital in startups and also serve as mentors for a lot of the companies that come out. The United States has an active angel and innovation economy. And I hope that throughout the day, this session, I can share some of that information. I'll just make a couple of comments. I'm not prepared for a 10-minute presentation, but very happy to have an interactive and lively conversation. I think in the United States, which is what I'm most familiar with, there's a lot of interest from universities and their tech transfer offices to commercialize a lot of their technologies that are coming out. And there's some really interesting and amazing ideas that are there. What we're finding out as angel investors is that often we're not able to invest in those ideas as they're coming out of the university, because as angel investors, we're looking to invest in entrepreneurs and people who can take those ideas and turn them into growing companies. And so what we're finding is we're developing several angel groups that are connected to universities and falling on the university goals for economic development and supporting a lot of the alumni that come out of the university. And it might be 3, 4, 5 years later after an idea comes out, an innovation comes out, that it turns into the kind of company with an entrepreneur that we can invest in and help support and grow. So we have a lot of interest in working together. We probably have a lot of the same issues that happen in the United States and Turkey, and I really look forward to hearing more about those the rest of the day.
Thank you for inviting me to be here. It's a pleasure. I have a small video for the viewers. Is there? Can I play the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are 7 things you think you know about business angels. 1. Business angels only invest within their own region. Incorrect. They look for the best teams and ideas no matter where they come from. Yes, in our sector we already play in the single market. Well, someone has to. 2. There are only a few business angels in Europe. Wrong. Today, Europe has nearly 260,000 angel investors, and the number is rapidly growing. If you still think it's a small group, invite them to dinner and pay the bill. 3. Angel investors are all old businessmen, disconnected from recent business trends. Misconception. A new young angels generation is on the rise. One day, baby, they'll be old, but not today. 4. Business angels are only successful in the US, where they funded Google and Facebook and Skype and Rovio and, I beg your pardon, these were actually businesses initially funded by European investors. How about that? 5. Business angel investment in early stages is limited compared to venture capital. I see. And where did you get that from? In 2012, VC funds invested 1.9 billion euros in early-stage companies, while business angels invested 5.1 billion euros. You got that, huh? 6. Business angels are lone wolves determined to take full control of startups. I guess so they'd be more like business devils than angels, wouldn't they? I suppose they do have a wolf-like habit to invest in packs. It's like having a friend who knows people who know people who know people who know even more people. 7. Business angels mean money. I see your point. No, I don't. Money isn't everything. The truth is, the money they provide comes along with equally valuable mentoring and network. You know what they say, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So, are we clear now? Well, let's see. Time for a quiz. Which countries have the best business angel tax incentives? UK and Turkey. Which country has the most advanced policy supporting angel networks? Spain. Which country has the most advanced knowledge and practice in angel syndication? Ireland. What are the top 2 countries in Europe concerning the visible angel investment market size? UK and Spain. Which countries have the best business angel co-investment funds? Portugal and Netherlands. Which country has on average the most developed and active business angel networks? Finland. Now you actually know. Let's fund the future.
So I hope you have enjoyed this video. It's a little funny video, but it helps to give a better idea about business angels, because sometimes people have misconceptions about the angel activity. One of the ideas that people might have is that the venture capital, so the companies that invest in startups, invest more money than angels. That is not true. So the angels are by far the largest investment stakeholder in startups in Europe in terms of equity. So this is really important. In terms of development, I think you have also seen it appears the Turkish flag there. So you have now one of the best tax breaks, tax incentives for business angels in all Europe. So Turkey is being a role model for all Europe in terms of the policy that your government has decided to implement. So that is really good news for you. So for those that are entrepreneurs and are looking for money, I think you have a big advantage compared with other European countries. Because when you talk with a business angel, you can say that, look, if you invest on me and you are a credit, you can deduct 75% of that investment. And I tell you, all the other entrepreneurs are jealous of you because they cannot say the same thing for other business angels. In terms of activity here in Turkey, due to the work of Baybars Altuntas and TBAA, it's impressive the growth of Turkey in terms of the angel activity. Is now the number 8 in terms of the ranking of angel activity in Europe. And so you invest more money through the angels than other countries with more people and even with more GDP, which is really impressive. One of the things that I think it's really important, because we are here as well, is because we are in university and you have decided to create a business angel network. And this is one of big difference from other universities, because I see a lot of TTOs and they don't see the advantage of having angel network. And it's like a cook. So we can have the best cook in the world, and if we just have water and rice, I believe it will not do miracles. This is the same thing. We can have all the ingredients in the world, and you put me doing cooking, and the result will be the same. So the point is, we need to have ingredients. And a TTO in a university needs to have ingredients. So it needs to have contacts with venture capitalists, it needs to have contacts with business angels, with banks. So it's very important what you are doing here in terms of the university. Just complementing what Marianne has mentioned, there is some misconnection, if I can say that, between a lot of TTOs and the angels. Because some of the TTOs think that because it's a great product, then the angels will invest. We can have the best product in the world, the best product in the world. We can have the smartest engineers in our board. But if we do not sell one single product, the company will not survive. So, of course, to have a fantastic product is one thing, but more important than having a fantastic product is to have clients. The definition of a company, for me, is very simple. Of course, I know that maybe in the university you have learned a different definition, but for me, is to create and maintain clients. That's it. So we will keep it interactive. Yeah.
I also brought a video for you. And there's a video time.
How do entrepreneurs change society? Is it through the potential of their ideas? Is it the passion that drives them? Or their ability to see opportunities where others cannot? Is it the impact and innovation of the events that come from their work? Or is it the belief that an idea can change the world? It is all of these that fuel the power of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs are more than risk-taking visionaries. They are creative, independent, responsible citizens. They are a catalyst for producing jobs, creating wealth, and stimulating economies around the world. What if it was easy to find the answers and support needed to advance great ideas? Or if useful information came to you directly? What if the vast amount of information and resources that is offered by an unprecedented collaboration of organizations was consolidated and organized to support entrepreneurs for the part that they play in building economies? Entrepreneurs are global citizens, bridging the gap between their communities and the world. United by the power of ideas, they are creating new industries and growing strong economies for a brighter future. Entrepreneurship, united by the power of ideas.
The question is it just the united power of the ideas? I'm also going on the presentation, so maybe just a second. Okay. Or united by the power of network, know-how, and finance? That's the question. as the previous the speaker highlighted the importance of the right brain to produce the new business ideas, then our right brain is producing a new business idea, but left brain is trying to prepare the business plan of the business model that we are developing with our right brain. So entrepreneur, potential entrepreneur, or would-be entrepreneur, or wannapreneur, however you describe him, is producing the business idea, which is very important, but some of them are able to carry it into the market. So some of the business ideas are the real inventions, but if the invention is not coming to the market, or the invention is coming to the market but is not matching with the demand of the market, then the invention is not becoming an innovation. If everybody is selling this water to 5 lira, and if I see that the shop selling this on the street is making so good money, then I decide to make the same business at the other corner of the street. I spend money for billboards, I make the advertisements, I create a marketing plan. Then the man on the street sees my billboard advertisements and becomes thirsty. But he doesn't consume my product, he consumes my competitor's product. Why? Because I don't have a brand. At the end of the day, he will feel that he is thirsty, but customer is very intelligent, by the way, and he will not take the risk of consuming a new brand which he hasn't experienced yet with the same amount of money. In that case, I am going to market my competitors' products, not mine. So I will increase the revenue of my competitors. I will serve to his marketing plan with the money from my own pocket. So I have to say, if I want to guarantee the sales come back to me at the end of my spendings, that yes, he is selling this water at the corner of the street, it is 5 lira. Mine is also 5 lira, but if you drink my water, then you are going to dream better tonight. Or you are going to see the future better. I don't know. We have to bring something innovative to our product so that the investment to the marketing will give its fruit for myself, not for my competitor. So, innovation is the second important step of the successful entrepreneur, not just the entrepreneur. Everybody can be an entrepreneur, setting up the business, going to the Chamber of Commerce and getting the license from the Chamber of Commerce is so easy. And it is very cost effective, by the way. You can do it online, anywhere in the world, approximately. But some of them become successful. Successful entrepreneur means the one who makes money. That's all. To guarantee making money can just be as a result of the innovation that we bring to the marketing strategy or to product or whatever we do. So, if our product doesn't sell in the market, it may mean that we are good inventor, but that's all. If you want to become the successful, create a success story in the market, our innovation is this, by the way, the cats. We are giving our panels with the participation of cats, so this is our innovation. So, however, there is no unsuccessful entrepreneur. There are two kinds of entrepreneurs: entrepreneur and successful entrepreneur. That's all. Because whatever you do, if you even lose money at the end of the day, then you learn many things, which means you can be a successful entrepreneur in the future. So, I'm not going to follow, of course, tell the other steps, but from entrepreneurship stage to innovation stage, we have to look around for opportunities, develop the business idea, develop the business plan, develop the business model, and smell money. If we are entrepreneurs who can take these 5 steps, then we are the entrepreneur angel investors are looking for. Because angel investors invest in entrepreneur, not the business idea. What I observe in the daily life, that entrepreneurs don't want to tell their business ideas to business angels, because they are afraid of missing their own business ideas to business angels, and if the business angels copies and pastes and does it and makes money and deletes him from the game. This is not the case, because business angels give importance to the entrepreneur, not to the business idea first. 5% of the company valuation is business idea, and 95% of the company valuation is if this entrepreneur can do it or not. So entrepreneurial skill is the real asset that the business angels are investing in. So technology transfer offices are carrying a vital role in developing such kind of skills, I think, and connecting the real entrepreneurs and the real business angels together and bringing them. So I want to congratulate to Murat Bey and his team for organizing such kind of a distinguished panel, I think, which will bring a value also to the participants, and everybody will be aware of the fact that the entrepreneurial skill is more valuable than the business idea, at least at the end of this panel. And angel investors will take place in this game by not, as Paulo said, providing finance, but providing also network, mentorship, and know-how. Those are the 3 things business angels can provide, the others cannot. Who are the others? Family members, crowdfunders, VCs, banks, government plans, business plan competitions. None of them can put the network, mentorship, and know-how on the table like business angels. So I want to give a good, share a good development with the participants. We signed an MOU this morning with Istanbul Stock Exchange Market to foster the angel investment industry and early stage markets in Turkey and Europe. İBAN, TBAA, and Istanbul Stock Exchange Market. And yesterday morning, we made a meeting with the Deputy Prime Minister Ali Babacan, with the participation again with Paul and Marian, and decided to make Turkey as the global hub center of the Global Angel Investment Week. So it's very important. Marian Hudson is here. Thank you very much from United States to here, coming by flying 16 hours or whatever. But thank you very much, Marian. And Paolo from Brussels, representing 75,000 business angels in Europe, 268,000 business angels in United States. And as Paulo said, Turkey came to 8th best event organizer of the early stage market from 11th, by the way. And that's not enough, of course, for us. We will be the number 1, don't worry. And with Paulo, we are flying to Bahrain next week to create an exit strategy for the Turkish business angels and European business angels, of course. Why? Because if we are talking about the success story, then investing in the entrepreneur is one leg of the game. The other leg is the exit strategy. And why we signed this MOU with Istanbul Stock Exchange Market? Because we are trying to create exit strategies for business angels. Because if Buba is going to invest in the investors, then between 3 and 7 years, in the next 3 to 7 years, his looking forward to exit. If there is no exit market, then how is he going to exit? He will have to fly to Silicon Valley. So instead of flying to Silicon Valley, I think we have to create our own exit markets within the country or within the countries close to Turkey, Gulf area, for example. So we are going to have a meeting with the Crown Prince of Bahrain next week. Then we will fly directly to Erzurum from Bahrain for the Angel Investment Summit of Doğu Anadolu Kalkınma İdaresi Başkanlığı. And then we will do something more, but at a university again, we will run a workshop. So, Turkey is going to be, I'm sure, the leader of its region, the Balkan countries and MENA region, for angel investment, because this morning we also talked about how we can do the Balkans Entrepreneurship Summit in Turkey, in cooperation with Istanbul Stock Exchange Market again. And yesterday in Forum Istanbul, we were again panel speakers with the CEOs of 3 banks, and TAP, Akbank, and Odea Bank. They are also taking business angel co-investment funds into their agendas, which is very good. And Garanti Bank IC is the partner of Buba. So there are 49 banks in Turkey, which means in a few maybe years of time, 49 banks will be in this game, which is unique in the world. First time in the world, not just in Europe, a stock exchange market opened its doors to angel investors and entrepreneurs at the same time. This is unique. So we are also making innovation for the industry, and we know that the success of the innovation has to be sustainable. And in order to create a sustainable success story for the industry, we have to create the regular innovations. So we know that today's innovation will be a tradition of tomorrow, and which means it is not going to keep the attention of the customer as it was the innovation. So we have to create the innovation series, re-innovate what we innovated, and we have to understand the difference between invention and innovation, and we have to understand that if there is no innovation in the game, then there is no access to capital. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello everybody and welcome. As the president of Boğaziçi University Alumni Business Angels, I'd like to say you all welcome. I am Timuçin Bilgör, the president of BUBA. Before I begin my words, I want to send my deep condolences to the people who died in Soma, and also we are sorry to hear that, and we hope that all the people who are responsible for this, both in an administrative way and also politically, will pay for that. As Buba, I mean, if I just had a quick summary that why we create Buba and why it happened in Boğaziçi University. I'm an alumni of '93 from business administration. In 2000 and 2001, I'm one of the first entrepreneurs and investors of yemeksepeti.com and mediaclick.com, and BNet as a technology partner with Ata Holding and Borusan. Until 2005, I continued to my investments in Turkey, and also I have some international relations. So I moved to London in 2004, at the end of 2004, and from 2004 to 2011, I was in London and working in Europe and US. And this was actually the first time, 2005, 6, 7, that I saw with my American partners in the United States, in Columbia University and New York University, how the alumni groups can work together as business angel network. as Baybars has just said, business angels can give you know-how, mentorship, and also networking. And I think this is one of the best places in Turkey that Boğaziçi University has networking, mentorship, and know-how. Because only money can be found by some sources, but especially in Turkey, these sources are very limited. The banking system of Turkey and also the board of banks don't let the idea, which is very common in UK and United States, is project finance. When you have a project finance, you go to a bank, what they will ask you most probably is either your personal guarantee and plus a mortgage, and plus what you have as house, land, whatever. Most probably you're not going to get, as an entrepreneur, you're not going to get the money from the bank only by putting your project on the table. So as these sources are limited, what actually traditionally what we have been doing in Turkey is to find money from our relatives and friends, which is a way of angel investment. And they are more angel because your parents is not going to ask their money back, most probably, So that's why maybe these investors, these kind of investors are called angel investors. They give their money, they give their know-how, mentorship, networking, and help you on sales, on your administrative, and all the sources that you need. When I got back from London in 2011, I read a Webrazi news saying that 26% of the entrepreneurs in Turkey are from Boğaziçi, and 30% of the investors on these companies are from Boğaziçi. The second one, the runner, is far behind this, which is 10%, Istanbul Technical University. So what I have seen in London and especially in United States, in Columbia and in Stanford, that the alumni people can support these entrepreneurs with the networking and with their business angel groups. That's why we started to work on this project last year, June, July, and we launched it in February this year. Until now, well, to tell the truth, everything is quite really good. So first of all, the companies, the big companies, are really very helpful to us. We have two strategic partners, Vodafone and Garanti, and we will have a couple of more coming, which you all know, they are all global, worldwide brands. And Boğaziçi University, as the school, as the university, and especially Technology Transfer Office, is helping to us because once we look at the relationship between technological investment and innovation at the universities and the industry, the market itself, there seems to be a gap between these two parts. So I think investors like Buba and other investment processes are going to help it to make an innovation or an entrepreneurship which is created in the university or linked to the university can get to a point where we can say that this will be a successful entrepreneur and successful entrepreneurship. In terms of the country, the atmosphere, in my opinion, I'm not very optimistic for the time being at least. The public, the government authority is trying really much to help and to create an atmosphere, but as maybe because of the geographical situation that where the Turkey lies, or where our traditional beliefs, that they still put some restrictions on these investment and the way how to do it. Maybe that's why the the memorandum of understanding like this morning and others that will be coming in very near future is going to help this atmosphere to get better and better. After the 1st of July, SPK, which is Turkish SEC or FCA in UK, are going to present another model both for other financial authorities and other financial models like venture capitals, crowdfunding, peer-to-peer capital, and more models of angel investment. I think this will make the atmosphere better, and this is going to help all the entrepreneurs which cannot find enough financial models through banks and financial institutions. Through the angel investment, they will both a better atmosphere, better financial models, and plus mentorship and knowledge to make their story a successful one. This is the summary for the time being, and then we can continue interactively, I think. Thank you.
Let's open the floor for Q&A. Any questions?
I know it will depend on the company a lot, but how's the angels model of investing works? I mean, what percentage of equity they would usually invest?
Get from the angel investor. The equity that the angel investor is looking for while investing to the entrepreneur, approximately 20 to 40%. By law, if it is over 50%, then the accredited angel investor is not allowed to get the 75% tax incentive, by the way. And there are 226 accredited angel investors now in Turkey. And as a matter of fact, if you are paying tax, of course it is meaningful. But if you are not paying tax, then it has no meaning. But it will be meaning if you pay tax or not in the future, in the case that if the government tries to convert the public money into smart money by using the system. How does it happen? Government may put the same amount of money for the entrepreneurs, for startups, if they receive the money from the accredited angel investor. So accreditation is very important, will be more important in the future. Now it is just a way to decrease the 75% of your investment from your personal income of the next year.
If I could jump in on that, I think that most sophisticated angel investors don't start on the deal that I want this percent of the company. Instead, what they think about is negotiating with the entrepreneur on what the value of the company is before they put in any money, and figure out from the entrepreneur how much money that entrepreneur needs, and that then determines how much of the company that they own. In the United States, it does seem to us to be, the sweet spot seems to be about between 15% and 35% in their first investment. And what we're also finding is that as angels need to continue to invest in the companies because perhaps there isn't venture capital, that's very, very common in most parts of the United States, then they'll keep investing and they may own more and more as they put more and more money into the company. But again, they're not usually looking for a specific amount. If we get a chance, I didn't get to say something when I first started talking, and I'd like to say one other thing. I think that innovation is really critical for companies to be successful, and as we've heard before, it could be the product, it can be an idea. In the case of Starbucks, I think they have nice coffee, but their innovation was really, in my mind, that they made going to Starbucks be an experience, and that was their innovation. And when I look at really good, innovative angel deals, my favorite is one of my own personal ones, where the innovation came out of the local university in my town, And the professor had a very interesting idea where he could use the technology he had to identify you by taking a picture with a smartphone of the whites of your eyes. And it turns out the blood vessels in the whites of your eyes are even better identifiers than your fingerprints or the retina of your eye. And so the professor had that information, and he was able to hook up with a local entrepreneur who had been successful before and could help him figure out how to turn this great innovation into a business. And they are now winning awards all over the country. They're taking that innovation and they're putting it into the smartphones, and they're selling them to banks as a way to identify you with your bank account, or perhaps to turn on your smartphone itself, as opposed to a fingerprint like iPhones are starting to have that ability. So what was interesting was the innovation came from the university, and we figured out in the ecosystem of our community how to put them together. And I think that's very exciting, and I think that's one of the neat reasons that having your angel group here is going to work.
I can talk a little bit about the question, because the question is related with valuation of the business idea or the company. So that is one of, I would say, key issues on negotiation. So the entrepreneur thinks that he will have the next Google or the next Facebook, and when the entrepreneur talks with his friends or her friends and the family, they always say, this is your opportunity of a lifetime. Please do not give up equity. You cannot put the valuation too low. And so on the other side, you have the business angel that has seen a lot of deals to fail, and so he sees that there is a lot of risk, and he doesn't believe on the entrepreneur's projections in terms of sales. And so there is no midterm there, and the most part of the deals do not follow through because they cannot agree on a valuation for the company. And that is so important to have a business angel network like Buba and the TTOs to explain the entrepreneur, but also to help the business angels to negotiate with the entrepreneur and vice versa. Because if the entrepreneur makes a projection in the paper of sales, is entering in a speculative market. So he's a speculator. And the business angel, the same thing. So let me give you an idea. I don't know where you buy potatoes, but I imagine you buy potatoes in supermarkets. So I have a fantastic idea, is to sell potatoes in supermarkets. So nobody disagrees that there will be potatoes in supermarket. And I just want to have 0.005% of the Turkish market in selling potatoes in supermarket. Come on, 0.005% is nothing. I have a land where I can plant potatoes, and I have a person that knows how to plant them and how to grow them. So this market, my company projection for next year is 15 million Turkish lira. I went to Garanti Bank, and they are special, and so I gave the business plan, and based on my business plan, because I will earn 3 million Turkish lira per year, they say that my company, the worth of value of my company is 12 million Turkish lira. So I invite you, all of you, to put 3 million Turkish lira in my business idea to sell potatoes in supermarket. You see, it's so easy to make high valuations of companies. So that's one of the issues, and that is one of the key points that a business angel network like Buba and the TTO can help both parts. If you don't understand the other part, you will never make a deal. And you can have the best product in the world, but you will not finance it. And if you don't finance it, it will not be the best product in the world.
Let me add some words here. When we talk to the entrepreneurs, especially in Turkey, what we all mostly face is okay, what's going to happen if we lose 51% of the company and we lose the control? I'm telling you from the first day, you're going to lose it. Thanks God if you lose it that you have investors. So if you have 10% of a $10 million company, it is better to have 90% of a $100,000 company. That's why please do not get frightened from losing the control. The agreements and the law system can cover you enough that you will still stay as an entrepreneur. And the second is, what we're facing, especially not the people like us, I have to say, because we have been doing it for a while, but from the real sector, like, for example, he has a factory in Halkalı, or he has a mine in Elazığ or Sivas, and had some money, but tries to enter this ecosystem, this new ecosystem, but don't know how to do it in one way, how to do the valuation, how to deal with the entrepreneurs. So that's why we are going to open in this university, we are going to open some programs both for entrepreneurs and for angel investors who are willing to learn at least how to do it. Nobody can teach you to be an entrepreneur, but some people can teach you how to behave when you become an entrepreneur. So if you follow the announcement in the university, you will find the answers of your question much more beginning from the second half of this year.
We are, I think, led to believe that when we say the word entrepreneur, we mostly connect it with technology, and the first names which come to our mind are Facebook, Google, or whatever. And I'm interested in whether there is a bias towards tech startups and entrepreneurship regarding technology. Now, we've touched upon a bit on Starbucks, we've touched upon the potatoes. So I would like to know, is there a bias towards technology and the tech startup scene? If there is, why? And where do you see any other trends? Where can we be entrepreneurs in some other areas rather than the technology scene?
Just a short introduction. 25% of the angel investment money in the global market is going to IT and mobile technologies. The other 25% is going to biotech investments. The other 50% is for everything. So just to give a figure, I mean, but I think Marian has many things to share with you. Sure. So I will add a few things after.
Okay, so those are global numbers that you're talking about? Yeah. Okay, so again, I'm most familiar with American, and yes, there is absolutely a bias on technology, life sciences, medical care. About 2/3 of our actual number of investments and our dollars go into those sectors. Mostly because we've found that they can grow the fastest, they can scale, if you will, so that we know when we put in our dollars up front, there's a bigger chance that those companies can grow from 0 to $5 million, and there's going to be an opportunity for that company to build value and be purchased by a corporation and exit, if you will, so that we can make money as investors. But we do see a lot of other kinds of investment because the brand name exits and companies that were funded, yes, they are Facebook, but they're also Federal Express, a couple of retail things like, I've probably not heard of them, but Best Buy, and retail companies that have become really huge across the country. And the thing about them was they had an innovative business process idea so that they could also scale. But the key is that they can scale. The growing areas in the United States for us are clean energy. And for angels, it's not the big energy projects. It might be how do you take batteries and make them use less and less energy. I would say consumer products and mobile.
And cross-border investment is very important. Why? Because if you don't have an exit strategy in the country, and if you are an angel investor, then you have to take the cross-border investment into your agenda, mainly where the exit market will be around Silicon Valley, naturally. So IT and mobile technologies is a good solution for making the cross-border investments.
I think that the answer for that, as mentioned by Marian, is about capital efficiency. So if you invest in an ICT area, you will invest less money with higher potential than investing in other sectors. I don't see any sector that the business angels do not invest at all. So if even for a restaurant, so if you want to invest, if you want to set up a restaurant, if it is just a restaurant, it will be difficult for an angel to invest in. But if it is a chain of restaurants that you want to build, and you are going to open just the first restaurant to be, your role model for that, then the angels can jump in. So there is no sector that the angels say, no, that sector I don't invest. Of course, each angel invests in one sector that, or 2 or 3 sectors that they like more, but there are angels that invest in other sectors.
By the way, of course, Paulo gave good information about company valuation. But generally, company valuation techniques are known by the angel investors very well, but not by the entrepreneurs. There are approximately 10 techniques: Bill Payne technique, David Rose technique, Dave Berg's. There are many techniques about company valuation. If the entrepreneur doesn't know these techniques, then what he is evaluating is just the proposition brought by the angel investor, which is not something good. So I think education, training for the entrepreneurs, how to negotiate, how to check the term sheets, how to make the company valuation, and how the angel investor is making the due diligence are all very important things. And of course, in United States, not less than 15%, up to 35%. In Europe, generally 20 to 40%. Because if you receive less than 15% equity, it means you are going to lose all your equities in the next 24 months. Because angel investors know that, we know that money we put will end at the end of the next 12 or 18 months. So we have to put the same amount of money again to keep our shares. If we cannot, then we are going to take other people into the game and we will lose our shares. And Series A, Series B, Series C, Series D, it goes until Series Z if you like. But that doesn't mean the exit. Because you are just filling the gap by selling your shares to the third players. In order to convert your angel investment money into real money, exit is the only way, not the Series A, Series C, or Series D. What?
I just wanted to jump in on one other thing that Paulo said. My answer when I talked about the sectors that we're focusing on did tend to focus on larger investors, angel networks, angel funds. And in the United States, the median size of that is about $600,000 for a deal. And the truth is, there's plenty of entrepreneurs with great, cool ideas that don't need that amount of money. And I think that in that case, they're looking for 1 or 2 or 3 angels, or perhaps a crowdfunding kind of opportunity to support them, which may or may not involve equity. And in that case, I think the playing field is wide open as long as you can, show a return.
I think there was one question over there.
Hi, my name is Çınar. I'm a student at Boğaziçi University from Industrial Engineering Department. I have a question about, suppose me and my friend have an idea and he has a huge amount of money, but I don't. So he suggests that we should set up a business plan with a business angel, but I say that no, give your money. And he says that we are not going to be that free if like a business angel just gets into the plan. My question is like how free can we be if we are spending the business angel's money? Am I going to be more free like when I spend my own money? Thank you.
I think that's what we talked yesterday in Istanbul Forum. We are now preparing a package that will be called the Business Angel Credit Package, where the entrepreneur will also become one of the guarantors of this package. So we are going to put money, and we are going to receive the same amount of money from the bank as loan, and the entrepreneur is going to be one of the guarantors of this package. In that case, I think entrepreneur will be caring while spending his money, because it will not be just the risk of the angel investor, but also of the entrepreneur.
Well, a couple things. I think one of the first things is to make sure you and your partner are pretty well aligned on what you want to do, because I think when you look at being entrepreneurs, that's one of the key issues. Does the management team and the original owners agree in what they're going to do? And then as far as freedom goes, I think there's a wide range of investments that can be done in the way it's structured between the entrepreneur team and the investor or investors. And so it's really critical for the investors and the entrepreneurs to talk with each other and really agree what they're looking for and to check each other out. And what I will say is, a lot of angel networks and angel groups look to be on your board of directors with whatever percentage that they own, and so they're going to have some say in what you're going to do as an entrepreneur. So one of the first questions you need to ask yourself as an entrepreneur is, am I the kind of person who is going to enjoy getting mentoring and having other people involved in my decisions, even if I own the majority of it? But there's also plenty of entrepreneurs who like that idea. There's others who say, no, you know what, this is my own company and I just want money and I don't want anybody to mess with my decisions. And there are plenty of angels who will do that as well. They're just looking to invest and stay out, and it's a matter of kind of matching up. And there's no one right way to do things, although I will still always argue that you would do best to find an entrepreneur who can really add value to your company. They know about your business, and they can provide advice about finding new customers and new markets and new capital as you need it. But again, that's just my personal bias. There's no one right way to do it.
In the case that you mentioned with your colleague, you can try to make an agreement with him in terms that if the company is, let's say, quite successful, that if you can pay back that money to his family with a certain interest rate or a certain amount of money. So that's good for everybody. So that's one way to make it. But if you don't need mentoring, if you have clients, to do everything, you don't need angels. Maybe you should find other source of funding. Of course, if could you put your money in someone else's company without caring what is going on there? It's going to be difficult. But so the best way is if you could make a plan that you could agree with the angels, quite detailed plan, then it would avoid a lot of issues in the future because you are aligned with the strategy. If you don't have a plan, so today you have an idea, tomorrow you change the idea, then the angels will get nervous.
What I would say also personally, what we do in Turkey, I'm giving real examples. For example, if we invest 1 million Turkish lira to a company as an angel investor, what we do is basically, actually you are not investing to the project or to the company, you are also investing to the team, to the people there. So if, as an investor, if I'm going to decide all the things for himself, then why am I investing to the team? I have my own money, I will go and create another company. So what we do is, for example, I'm giving as real numbers, if we invest 1 million lira to a company, let's say for 30% of the shares, we give total freedom up to 50,000 lira operations. So what the team does up to 50,000 lira, they are free. They don't need to ask, they don't need to get permission, they don't need to do anything. But above that limit, they have to get the acceptance of the board, which we are already involved. Plus, at the beginning, when we sign an agreement, there is a plan already. When I say, okay, you can spend up to 50,000. So it means that you can say that, okay, I can spend 20 times 50,000, which is going to be 1 million, and which you are going to spend your money and get a car, have a villa, rent a villa, you know, instead of working in a small office. So that's why there's a plan, there's a budget. Maybe there's no profit on that budget, it doesn't matter. But the budget should, if you, at the beginning of the agreement, at the beginning of this relationship, you can go up and down from 20% of this budget monthly. Because monthly we have a board meeting anyway. So on every board meeting, if you want to exceed this money, then you need again board's approval. So that is a kind of board that give independence to the team up to a limit, which they will also get our mentorship and our help.
I want to ask a question. Is it better to receive that, for example, you need 100,000 lira for your project? And is it good to receive it from just one angel investor, go to Baybars and receive it, or go to Buba and receive it? Which one is better, according to you?
Come to me, Daria.
I mean, this question is...
Let's vote who is better, if it is Baybars or Buba.
Baybars or
let's
Buba.
Vote next, make
Which
a
one?
vote.
Both are beginning with B, but... Which one? Okay, let me answer it. If you come to me and if I invest in your business, then you have just one mentor, one network, one know-how, isn't it? Everything will come. Everything is expected to come from Baybars. If you come to Buba and gets the same amount of money from this network, then this network is going to put the money by coming together with 10 people. Each of them will put 10,000 lira and create a pool, isn't it? So that means this is, or 20 or 100, whatever, or 1,000 or the 1 million people. But at least you will have more than one person as the mentor, as the network. Those 10 people or 1 million people will try to put their network or know-how or mentorship, and there will be some people who will open the doors where the others cannot. So the amount of money is the same amount of money, but from the entrepreneur's side, it may become more logical to receive money from a business angel network. No, it's not working like that, because the BAN, Business Angel Network, is appointing one of them as the key angel or leading angel, and he's following. So you are going to again deal with one investor face to face, but you will have more than one backup. Right, which is creating a great value.
To follow up on that. So you've just got one person that's on the board, and you can decide then if you want to use the expertise of somebody else, to work on a project, or, if you're missing a key employee who could help you out for a while. Or as you grow, you might change who the person from the angel group on the board is, because maybe you start off and you really need help with the technology and innovation, and later on you need somebody who's really good at marketing and sales, and that switches who that person would be on your board or working with you a lot as a mentor.
Marion organized the big conference in Washington, D.C. last month, and the topic of the panel I was a speaker at was investing in the right team. So what we discussed in the panel, investing in the right team is important, but invested by the right team is also important. So that's also, I think, you have to take into consideration while taking the investments.
To keep on track with the program, we have to conclude the panel now. We have a coffee break. Each panelist will be around. You can grab them and ask your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome to our panel titled Creating Systemic Change Through Social Innovation. theoretical foundations and practical implications. It is a great pleasure for me to be here with you and with our distinguished speakers. I'm especially very excited to be here as a Boğaziçi graduate, and after spending 10 fabulous years in this university, I really feel now very excited to moderate this panel, I can say. Okay, today in this panel we will be listening for speeches. We will start with Dr. Esen from Istanbul Kemalburgaz University. She will basically talk about the theoretical foundations of social innovation and present the preliminary findings of our research about the conceptualization of corporate social innovation. Next, Ms. Titis, the founder and the general manager of the Mikado Consulting, will give a speech about Mikado. By the way, Ms. Titis is also a social entrepreneur who owns 2 social enterprises. Next, Dr. Göcenoğlu, IBM Corporate Citizenship and Corporate Affairs Manager, will talk about the corporate citizenship practices in IBM company. And finally, Mr. Özçağdaş, the founding partner of the Center for Social Innovation, will talk about the social innovation in Turkey and the activities of the Center for Social Innovation. Since we have to finish this session about 4:30, I will ask all of our presenters to wrap up their speeches in 12 minutes or 14 minutes maximum, to spare some time for the question and answer session. So I would like to give the floor to our first presenter, Aile Esen, to deliver her presentation.
Thank you very much. I have a PowerPoint presentation here. Let me find it. Okay. So as the first speaker, I will try to give you a brief definition of social innovation, since the main aim of this panel is to provide a deeper understanding on what social innovation is and how social innovation practices are being developed in Turkey. So let's start with the definition. Here you can see the official definition of the European Union on social innovation. So according to the European Union, social innovations are new ideas, institutions, or ways of working that meet social needs more effectively than existing approaches. So what differs social innovation from a technological innovation is basically the social word, the social term. Social innovation has to improve a social problem, has to find a solution to a social problem, and has to create social value. So all the definitions in literature actually provide us 3 pillars that provide the basis of social innovation. The first one is novelty. Of course, whenever there is innovation, there has to be novelty. So this is also valid for social innovation. Social innovations bring new solutions to social problems, such as poverty or unemployment. The second pillar is social value, creating social value. Social innovations create some kind of public good or social value about the problem that is being solved. The final item, the final dimension is stakeholder involvement. Usually in most occasions in social innovation projects, we observe that participations who have a stake in the social problem are also included in the solution. So stakeholder involvement is also a critical pillar for social innovation. So when we look at these 3 pillars in literature, actually, in addition to social innovation or corporate social innovation, we find these pillars in common in some of more traditional topics such as corporate social responsibility, organizational innovativeness, or social entrepreneurship. However, this picture, or what we see in theory, in literature, is not sufficient enough to provide us a good theoretical basis. So there is still way to go in terms of defining social innovation dynamics in the academic literature. So usually the field of social innovation grows up primarily as a field of practice. It includes people doing social innovation projects and then reflecting on whatever they do. We usually see case studies reflecting upon social innovation projects. There is relatively little attention on building theory or on the history or evolution of social innovation. We cannot talk about any clearly defined schools of thought, but actually we can say that in the last 5 to 10 years, there is relatively promising work increasingly focusing on social innovation. From the business perspective, there is an emerging paradigm called corporate social innovation. Usually, in most cases, this concept is reflected as one step ahead of corporate social responsibility. Maybe our guest speakers here will talk more about what's happening in real life in Turkey in terms of the difference between CSR and CSI. So in a study that we conduct currently, it's not yet finished, but the preliminary results show that corporate social innovation again carries or is built upon these 3 pillars that we mentioned in defining social innovation. So corporate social innovation can be defined as practices or efforts of organizations that aim to find innovative solutions to social problems again, but within usually the span or within the area of the organizational environment of the organization. Second, these social innovation projects have to be initiated, shaped, or coordinated by corporations in order to call them corporate social innovation efforts. And finally, again, we see a lot of stakeholder involvement in corporate social innovation efforts. Again, in our research, we found out that these factors, these 6 factors actually lead to successful corporate social innovation efforts. The first one is, as Michael Porter calls, creating shared value. Companies who are successful social innovators do not only focus on economic value, but also they focus on creating a shared value with the society. Also, a term or an attribute that we call social empathy is that companies who are successful social innovators are aware of the social problems in their own environments. They feel strong empathy towards these social problems. This is a second attribute of these type of corporations. Stakeholder involvement, innovativeness, these are again musts of social innovation, as we mentioned. Also, the structure of the organization, the corporate culture, the vision of the top management, all these organizational factors have to be designed to support social innovation in order to create successful social innovation projects. So what next? Actually, there is too much to do in terms of research in defining the dynamics of social innovation. Here are some questions that we believe have to be deeply searched, deeply addressed in order to understand social innovation from a better theoretical perspective. How much is social change driven by entrepreneurial individuals, by organizations, by nations, by governments? Or why do some social change ideas travel well and some not? Do social innovations scale in the same way as business innovations? And finally, is it possible to measure the innovative capacity of organizations or nations? Again, we see some promising work on social innovation in the last decade. However, in order to mature as a theoretical field, we believe that there is still too much to do. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you for this interesting and informative speech. Now, Mr. Tes will take the floor.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. I have a presentation for you, but I think, one part is in Turkish. I'm sorry for that. I didn't know that I had to make it in English. Actually, they've told me that it's my mistake. I'm sorry about that. I'm a social entrepreneur. I've been working in the sustainable development field for 12 years. I've worked at different civil society organizations, and I've established a social enterprise, a not-for-profit company in Turkey, legally registered as a profit company, but not making the profit, making the profit, but using it for social benefit and for social programs. A social enterprise for sustainable development that crafts models to serve sustainable development, mainly in Turkey. And it has three main fields of activity. One, responsible private sector, we call it, where we are trying to engage companies and use their resources and forces and enable these resources to match with social needs and craft models with them and get them more responsible inside and outside their company with their stakeholders. And the second field is sustainable and transparent civil society, where we are helping and assisting NGOs and civil society organizations to build their capacity and to measure the impact they're generating. And the third one is social innovation, we call it. It's like an incubation center, kind of, where we are generating models inside the company, which become later on other social enterprises. I will mention one which became an NGO very recently. So these three main fields of activity are actually talking to each other. And we are engaging companies, NGOs, civil society, and academia and the public sector to craft these models. We've become a B Corporation. I don't know if you've heard of it before. It's a movement that it's growing right now in the world. It has started in the US in 2006. It's called B Corp, Benefit Corporations, which is trying to foster companies to become more responsible and use their forces for good of the society. And we are the only one in Turkey right now. So we have crafted many different models throughout the years. It's been 7 years that this company is sustaining itself. We have human rights programs. We have developed a sustainable tourism program. We have developed some vocational programs and youth empowerment programs and sustainability strategy building with companies. And we've been trying to pioneer the sector, and when the company was there, actually the demand wasn't there. So we had to create the demand. This is also one of the features that social entrepreneurs have to deal with when they start their endeavor. But it also has many advantages throughout the years. So one of these models that we've created is called Future is Brighter in English, Gelecek Daha Net in Turkish. So this was an idea when I started the company. It became a project, and now it has its own space. It has become an NGO. Okay, let me summarize it very briefly, and if you're interested, I can give you some more detail later on. So we've started this initiative targeting youth unemployment in Turkey, which is increasing. Right now it's 19% registered. And there are many difficulties youth are facing today in Turkey, as we've done. We have had the same difficulties when we were studying, actually. So you see that university students today in Turkey, they're not practicing the field they have studied at university. 70% of youth in universities don't practice what they've learned at school. You see that half of students can't even enter universities, and one out of four university students can't. They have to retake the exam. So you see a very big inefficiency, and at the end of the day, we have 19% youth unemployment. And there are many reasons lying behind this. I'm sure you all know about this, but we see that families can't, they're insufficient. They can't supply the needs that these youngsters have actually. They don't have any idea about what technology brings into their lives and what they're expecting about the future, some new vocations, new occupations. We see that the education models are not supporting youth enough. They're not questioning, it's more theoretical and exam-based systems. And youth can't reach professionals. They're disconnected with the business life. So they don't know actually how these vocations are actually implemented. So we've come with a solution. It's not a solution, but it will assist the solution, let's say. So we decided to build a platform targeting youth aged 14 to 30 and use technology and bring them information and experience with an equal way without any time and space restriction. And the aim is to get youngsters become more proactive, more effective, economic-wise as well, and also for them to make better decisions about their future, their lives, and their education. So we've developed an online platform. It's an online and offline platform, but this online version, the online side is very prevalent. So you see a database, a one-stop shop reference point for youth, where they can reach information on all kinds of vocations and occupations they might be interested in. Like, for example, when you come to this website, you want to learn about architecture or communications or any kind of interesting thing that you have in your mind. So you enter at the search area and you see at this platform which universities, which high schools, which departments, how many volunteers are there ready for you to give a mentoring session for you, how many online trainings, how many webinars and activities are being provided from this platform to you. So this online site is like a database, an intensive network of people, corporations and information. So we've developed some innovative online technological tools like this e-mentoring tool. We've started this in 2009 and now it has grown and we have 415 volunteers from 60 sectors present there for youth from high school and university students, and we match them and they make one-to-one chatting sessions written on purpose. No visuals and no sound, so that no prejudice is there. So all the talk is concentrated to the vocation itself. So this is going very well, and we have combined this with video conferencing, where one mentor can talk to many students, and coaching system is starting with ICF partnership, physical coaching. Online trainings are being provided by E-Nokta, webinars and video conferencing, and we have a great video area where we're sharing success stories and vocational videos. We're shooting with companies on areas that youth are mostly interested in. And this part is improving. We have 300 videos right now. So it's a great information network where youth can get access to people, to education institutions, to trainings, and all kinds of other things they need, and they can get in touch with each other. So we go to universities, we go to high schools, we make presentations, and we make development camps actually with youth. And this is how we find them. This is how we integrate them into the platform. The offline side is of course very important, but it's all, complemented with the online side. This is how we're following and measuring the impact we're creating. So we have a very developed admin system, infrastructure, and it's a replicable system. Right now we're scaling the project to an international level because it's youth unemployment problem, and this kind of a system where you're bringing all stakeholders of the problem into one, all together is unique. So right now we're getting some support to get this in an international scale. I don't want to talk in too much detail, but I just want to say that in 5 years' time, we want to reach 500,000 youth. Hopefully, we're working hard on it. 1,000 active volunteers to become an international platform, become a reference point and an opinion leader to affect and influence youth policies, hopefully. And what's unique about this platform is that it brings information and experience equally to everyone, free and reachable, and is engaging youth and professionals to the solution of the same problem they are actually being affected by. And we get professionals volunteer, and very easy volunteering through technology, but also we engage them to enrich the content of the platform by shooting videos and getting them make webinars. The e-mentoring practice is the first in Turkey. It started in 2009, and it's replicable, and it's a great reference point for youth to empower themselves. Because in general, youth platforms, when you see in the internet, they're mostly social networking spaces, but this one is especially for youngsters who want to make a change in their lives. So we have supporters, and this network is increasing. So I hope you keep this network in mind, and you bring yourself and your friends maybe to volunteer in this platform. Maybe I can just wrap up by the whole journey that I've been through on social entrepreneurship in Turkey. The sector is actually is growing, and this is very promising. Social entrepreneurs are much more recognized today in Turkey and in the world, and there are more sources we can benefit from. But the journey was difficult. It is still very difficult because we are registered as a company. Even though we are serving the community and community's needs, we don't have access to any incentives. So and we have to pay the taxes the same amount as a profit-making company. So this gives us a hard time. And I could recruit more people in my team, instead of paying that much tax. But when comparing with 5-6 years ago, I think the sector is growing, and more youngsters are much more interested in being social entrepreneurs and have more meaningful lives and create meaningful companies or organizations. So I think it's very hopeful. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Dr. Göcenoğlu will talk about the corporate citizenship activities in IBM.
Hello. In such speeches, I generally start with a kind of a joke or, kind of a story. But today, I'm not in the mood to tell such a thing, as you know, and I share this sadness of people who died in Soma yesterday and still today. These are generally issues of human rights and labor and, child bribes, empowerment and poverty, and these are the discussions that we speak every day about when we discuss about issues like social innovation and sustainability and corporate citizenship and all the things that Ayla Hanım had already mentioned. Within these lines, it's the hope that takes us and let us to do this kind of work that Suat and Serra is leading. And of course, hope, I'm mature and old enough to understand that hope is not enough without responsibility. So today my responsibility is about giving a kind of a part of what IBM does in this area. So if you allow me, I'll just mention about a program that we run at IBM globally in the last 5 years. And that's called the Corporate Service Corps. And actually, from the social point of view, social innovation point of view, the CSR agenda, which Ayla had already mentioned, actually kind of transfer from individual philanthropy to real value issues through history and through the needs and through the, if you're a socialist or economics, you would understand from how the capitalism has moved till this age, till 2013. For us, it is the critical issues are of course about jobs, education, and healthcare and disaster reliefs and seas, and of course our technology. Looking at today's new famous words like big cloud, data, mobile, which I think you already discussed through the morning, and business analytics and social business analytics. These are the technology that builds up, but there are also other simple solutions that also IBM offers in terms of social innovation and CSR, and these are on the right hand. You will see many of them. Today I will mention about corporate service corps, but just letting you know that we also allow our employees and empower them to do volunteering work for the community. It's called on-demand community. So if you have an NGO, we can match you within our IBM employees. And today we have, for instance, Hakan Bey here from Bilim Kahramanları Association, which actually supports science and technology in schools through a Lego first Lego League tournament. And we have, I'm very proud to say that from IBM we have 6-7 volunteers that every year joins Bilim Kahramanları and volunteers for them for days and hours and help them to achieve their goals. The Corporate Service Corps, on the other hand, is a program that is similar to this volunteering program, but in a different manner. Is that in the first one we allow our employees to do volunteering work in a way that they want to do, and they can do whatever time they want to. But the Corporate Service Corps is different. We select IBMs from one country, put them into teams, and then position them in a country, in an emerging market, to an NGO there, and work there for a month to do a kind of a community work. So over the last 5 years, more than 2,400 people, IBMers joined this program, and they went to different 53 countries and helped to work with more than 1,000 projects with a value of $56 million. In Turkey, we are both receiving country, so I will mention more detail to that, but we also send our employees to different countries. Till now, in the last 5 years, 16 IBMers has been to different countries like Brazil, Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia, and volunteered there. So what are the benefits that allows IBM to make such an investment in the program is that it has 3 different steps. One is that, of course, we work with communities and we help the communities to solve problems. The other one is about leadership development of IBMers, because generally we work within our own environment and ecosystem with businesses. And whenever we go to a business, we know what kind of problems they have, and we know how we can provide, what kind of solutions we can provide. But when you go to an NGO, you don't know their challenges, you don't know their problems, so we help them to understand and plan and execute these issues. And through that, our employees have a chance to understand about cultural awarenesses and improve their skills as well. And last but not least, about new markets. IBM is also is a global company expanding every year to a different geography or different country. So it allows, this program allows us to understand the needs in those countries in general and get at more connections within different high-level organizations. So what are the key areas that we work in? Of course, it differs to different country to country. Here I got 2 examples from South Africa and India, where in India we help different NGOs access to health services and women empowerment, while we work with training small entrepreneurs in South Africa, which links to social development. Another area that we work with is in economic development, where we work with Brazilian NGOs and bring NGOs about cloud services and introduce cloud services to the NGOs. And in Vietnam, we help them to plan their strategic implementation in the tourism industry. In education, of course, we work with, again NGOs, but sometimes it differs, and we can work with government agencies and semi-government agencies like the development agencies in Turkey. And in this projects, we helped university in Nigeria to integrate, to be more efficient in different projects. Overall, this experience for our IBMers start actually before they are launched in the country. The pre-work actually is like 3 months before they participate to this program. We had teleconferences. So in these teleconferences, there are issues about cultural awareness. Sometimes we let them know about different languages in the country that is being spoken. In the country, it's a full-time job, so they work as they are working in their home countries. Through that period, of course, their salaries are paid by again IBM. So it's a kind of a time that IBM actually allows their employees to work. and return their, coming back, of course, they have a duty and responsibility to share their experiences in the country. In Turkey, till now, in the last, since 2009, we had 10 teams in the cities that you'll see here. Last one in Bursa. Number of experts that has been to Turkey is around 119, and approximate time is about 30,000 hours that they have been volunteered. And we work within different projects, 33 of them, and we worked 31 different organizations, mostly development agencies, the universities, and the Chamber of Commerce in those cities. So what are the areas that we work within? This is a kind of a list that it embraces, but just to actually getting aligned with today's agenda, the last project we did in Bursa was actually trying to create a business angel network for Bursa, City of Bursa, working with the Chamber of Commerce and Bursa Eskişehir Bilecik Development Agency. Our team actually worked within the organizations there, within investors, and we held different workshops and we surveys, gather information, and proceed with a strategic roadmap to agencies how they could develop a business angel network in Bursa. So that was one of the programs that we work with BEPCA and such. So thank you very much for listening to me. For the information, you can go to our website. In generally, I'm also responsible for recruiting people from Turkey to the program in Europe, to different countries. And what I'm saying is that IBM has different programs to support its employee training and leadership skills. And what I've been telling them is that you can go to a master course if you have money, and if you want to pay kind of a fee, and if you have time. But this is kind of a program that you can't ever buy with money or kind of any kind of incentive. This is also, I think, is a good social innovation because it can be replicable from different companies. So if you own a company, you can let your employees to do some volunteering work. So I hope, as some of the entrepreneurs, maybe there are some entrepreneurs in the room, when you have your company, don't sit in your table and just don't contact your clients, but also do integrate your business with society. And for that, you can go to several entities if you need help when you have your company. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for this comprehensive presentation and speech. Now, our final presentation. For the final presentation, I want to give the floor to Mr. Özçağdaş from Center for Social Innovation.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Not a good day for a presentation. I share my condolences with the people in Soma as well. I would like to present Center for Social Innovation Turkey, what we do here almost 3 years, and what's the situation in the field of social innovation right now in Turkey. Why we work on social innovation as a center? This quote from Albert Einstein is really guiding for us. He says, the significant problems we face today cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were when we created them. Which means to me is we need a new paradigm to solve existing very old age problems or new problems in a new way. So it really describes what social innovation is to me. As a Center for Social Innovation, of course, there are two things, as Ayla mentioned about the definition of the social innovation, therefore I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, thanks to her. Two basic things is for sure. One is you need unmet social problems, and the second one, you need a new approach, innovative approach to solve the problem. That's very easy definition of the social innovation, actually. What is social innovation for CSI Turkey? To create new innovative solutions to current social, cultural, economical, and environmental problems. The New Zealand Center for Social Innovation describes it, the design and implementation of better ways of meeting social needs. Young Foundation from UK describes it new solutions that simultaneously meet social needs and create new social relationships or collaborations. And 6, social innovation program of the EU, the process of designing, developing and growing new ideas that work to meet pressing unmet needs. Social innovation is a kind of sexy term these days. Everybody is talking about social innovation. It's a very simple definition, but in many cases we are not sure what is social innovation. Is that a social innovation project or not? It's not a new term actually. It started in the 1960s. Today in 42 universities and in many countries there are social innovation centers. And for example, there are some social innovation concepts. When we look at from today to the back, National Health Service was a social innovation in 1940s. There was no such system in the community, and it was a social innovation for that time. And Open University in 1960s was another social innovation program, and it was actually established in Turkey by Yılmaz Büyükerşen as well. And now it solves many people's problem. Maybe you didn't have a chance to go to university. Maybe you lost your mothers and fathers. Maybe you didn't have a chance to go to university because of your financial situation. But now you can solve your problem by going to an open university. It still exists and it's increasing everywhere in the world. And microcredit in 1970s was another social innovation example. And Muhammed Yunus, as you're well aware, is the most famous person in the microcredit issue. In 1980s, fair trade movement was another social innovation concept throughout the world. And in 90s, open source software was another big issue. In the 21st century, Wikipedia as an open source is a new social innovation project. And again, crowdfunding sites and crowdfunding mechanisms were the new social innovation programs in the 21st century. For example, crowdfunding sites or crowdfunding companies are solving many problems in the communities. Last year, only the Kickstarter, as a Kickstarter website, probably you're well aware about it, got offer from the community $363 million. $363 million donation from the community to the social problems and some other programs. So it's a huge new way to create a financial resource, especially for the NGOs and other social programs. When it comes to Turkey, the conceptual framework is not very well known in the community. In universities, there are not a lot of research on that. Thanks to Ayla and Jada, now we will have a social innovation framework in the near future in the corporate social innovation, but we need more and more researchers on that. And institutional capacity is not very strong. Center for Social Innovation is the only organization solely dedicated on the social innovation work. There are some other organizations like Serra's organization works on social innovation. It's before the Center for Social Innovation started to work on the social innovation field together with the social entrepreneurship and other concepts. But there are very limited number of the organizations in the country. And as I said, research, data and best practices are not in the considerable amount to inspire people to get into work in the social innovation field, and also awareness and interest. Actually, awareness is low, but interest is huge. Whenever I meet someone and I say, hey, I'm Suat from Center for Social Innovation, everybody says, hey, it's very interesting, what are you doing? So there is an interest, but awareness is somehow low. As a concept, it's a new and emerging concept in Turkey. There is a media interest on that. For example, in the morning, I was giving an interview to Capital on innovation pages. So there is an interest in the media, there's an interest in universities and in the other NGOs and in the other fields. It's an interesting field. Because it's a new baby, everybody wants to do something in the field. That's something good to me. And it's a mainstreaming concept, not just as a separated field, but it incorporates with the NGOs, with the companies, with the universities, and with the public authorities as well. So it's not a separated field from the other social changers. Actually, it's a kind of umbrella concept. And also, who is dealing with the social innovation? Actually, I said this, let me pass this, but Center for Social Innovation today exists in the field, and there are some social enterprises like Mikado and some others, because in many cases, social enterprises are doing their work in a social innovative way. Social innovation and social enterprises are going hand in hand, because somewhere or another, you need an innovation for your work if you establish the social enterprise in the community. And there is an interest in private sector, although some of the private companies executing some social innovation projects, they are not aware that they are doing social innovation work. They are trying to do something on decreasing the side effects of their work in the environment, or increasing the benefits of their company, but not in a theoretical way. They just want to do something good. But actually, they are doing social innovation work, so it needs to be clarified for the private sector companies. And in some universities, there are some institutions and there are some activities like this one started to talk about the social innovation in the country. And there are some challenges, as for many other new initiatives in Turkey or new concepts in Turkey, there is not enough financial resources for increasing the social innovation work, and also a number of best practices, as I said before, kind of limited, and NGOs dealing with the social innovation does not exist. Although there are some NGOs dealing with the social enterprises, but not solely for social innovation work. And research and data, as I said, are the other challenges. We have lack of information regarding the social innovation in the country. And also there are some opportunities in the social innovation work. First of all, there is a need for that. There are a lot of problems. Turkey is a country which doesn't like to solve the problems, rather like to talk about the problems. So we definitely have a need to solve societal problems in a new way. And youth interest is really important because especially younger generations, youngsters are reading and searching through the internet and trying to learn about the social innovation and social enterprises and other issues, related social issues. So youth interest is really important. And there's a change in business environment and the entrepreneurship. From before our panel, there was a kind of business angels panel, as far as I know. So there's an interest in the entrepreneurship side. So this is another positive issue. And there's a supportive climate in the private sector, in the NGO sector. Whenever there is a need, there's an opportunity, the other members of the sector tries to help you, tries to support you. Whenever we ask something to other actors, they are really keen on helping us. So this is another positive issue. So there is no jealousy. I mean, everybody wants to help each other. Maybe because we are just a bunch of people, but it's good to live in a positive attitude and a positive environment. And human capital, social capital is really strong in Turkey. There are really good minds, very brave, very brilliant minds to solve societal problems in Turkey. And I believe social capital is one of the strong part of the social innovation work in Turkey. And private universities, especially the kind of, how you say, kind of race or competition among the private universities is really important to develop a new concept, because for private universities, especially for private universities, every single year there's a need for a new baby, social enterprise, social innovation, social something. So it's good to have new courses. It's good to have new institutions in several different fields. So private universities are good change makers for other reasons. And ICT technologies actually is maybe one of the most important one in this list, because it's an open source. You can reach all the information through the internet, all the articles, all the cases and books and everything. So if you are really interested in developing yourself in the social innovation, like myself, I'm not how developed I am, but I just learned social innovation through reading from books and internet, etc. Because there's no such master or doctor degree in Turkey to establish a social innovation center. So ICT technologies is really important for the field. And also EU's approach, because EU is a kind of groundbreaking organization or community for Turkey as well. Whatever EU does comes to Turkey as a kind of benchmark, and EU is paying a lot of attention on social innovation, so that's another positive issue and opportunity for Turkey. Center for Social Innovation for Turkey, we call it CSI Turkey, it's a funny name. We basically see social innovation as a term, as a kind of mainstreaming term, not just one field. So we believe that all the social actors may execute a social innovation projects. Therefore, the working field for the center is very big. We work with the social entrepreneurs, we work with NGOs, we work with companies on CSR projects and CSR programs, and also other organizations doing social innovation work in Turkey, like universities. These are the programs we did in last 3 years. We established the Center for Social Innovation in 2011, September 2011, together with 30-some NGO people from different NGOs and 12 academics. And till now, we organize Big Young Social Entrepreneurs Award. That's the 4th year, and every single year we select 10 young social entrepreneurs and providing trainings and some support and mentorship to young social entrepreneurs. And with Community Volunteers Foundation, we finalized a project, Social Responsibility and Social Entrepreneurship in Universities project. We are trying to increase the awareness for the social enterprises and social entrepreneurship in the universities. Last 2.5 years, we had seminars in different universities, and more than 10,000 students get first-hand information about the social enterprises, because we see as a huge potential in the young university students to develop or to establish their social enterprises. That's the case in Turkey, at least. And also, there are some social entrepreneurship trainings. For example, yesterday I was in Bursa with Uludağ University. We gave a training on social entrepreneurship. And also mentorship opportunities for the young people. Every single day we talk to a new social entrepreneur about something. And also we work with NGOs and private sector. I'm not going to go in detail, but we established a disaster volunteer system with Turkish Red Crescent Society. We finalized a strategic planning and reorganization process with the KAÇU, and we finished Middle Black Sea Development Agency for 4 cities in the Black Sea region, Samsun, Tokat, Amasya, and Çorum, to increase the capacity of the civil society organizations and to have a strategy and action plan. We continue to work with OPET on corporate volunteer system like IBM is doing. And every month we have social innovation talks in Koç University Taksim building on several different issues, first Friday of every month. And also we have training programs for the private sector, especially training programs are our fundraising mechanism to keep Center for Social Innovation alive. What we learned is this: team is really important, and share vision, and you have to prepare yourself. You do your homework in a very good way, and leadership and participation in many cases is the most important thing, because these concepts are really new concepts in Turkey. You definitely show your leadership to increase the efficiency of the program. Network is everything. Especially in Turkey, if you have a good network, and if you don't have a network, it's really difficult to do something. So network is really important. That's what we learned, actually. And quality service and feedback is really important, because that's a field that we learn every single day. it's not such a field that you can follow some other examples from other countries. So we learn every single day. So feedback and quality service check is really important. And last but not least, you have to be patient and you need fortune. That's what we learned actually. Our future plans. That's the last one. We are in a position to continue to create positive social change for people and the community. We would like to implement some social innovation projects in the future with the partners to provide quality services. And we would like to serve as a hub for social change actors. That's one of the important problems in Turkey because social change actors don't have enough capacity to continue their work. So they need hubs to come together and to increase their efficiency. We would like to organize a Social Innovation Congress to play a role in designing new social innovation centers. I don't know why universities doesn't have social innovation centers still in Turkey. I had some presentations in some universities and we talked to some deans in the universities. Social innovation centers are the primary resources to work all together as a university as a whole. An engineer, a sociologist, and psychologist, and an education person or academics can work together in the social innovation centers because it's a field for everyone. So that's really important. And we would like to continue to work in this way and to function as a self-sufficient social enterprise. And thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much for this inspiring presentation as well. So I think we completed our presentations. Now we will start question and answer session. Yes, you can have a comment. Of course.
My compliments. This was the best issue of today and the best presentation of today. And in any country, innovation or design management or anything cannot be realized without the concept of social innovation. And the presentation was good. The issue is good. It was the best of today. So I do congratulate. Two reasons. One is it's a very young team, and you are so well involved with such an issue, which is not very private, not individualistic. I am so sorry the saloon is not crowded as the one before, which was full with entrepreneurship and etc. etc. I am just speaking in the name of Design Foundation, and I do promise to give a hand to you and to present you a project with the workshops, which will take week-long minimum, where it will be involving the society. One thing I have to say, now the politics have to be more civil, and civil have to be more politic. Only one comment to you. The earliest social innovation in the Republic of Turkey, it was before 1960s, it was köy enstitüleri. It was a real social innovation. So many thanks to you. There are a lot to say, but we will invite you to our site and we will have a lunch and have a long chat. Many, many thanks to you.
Thanks for the comment and generous comment. Thank you very much. You are right. There are some previous examples of the social innovation. And also before the köy enstitüleri, actually, there are some other social enterprises examples in Turkey as well. For example, Darüşşafaka is one of those social innovation example back then. And also Zeynep Kamil Hospital is one of others. So there are, you are very right, there were some other previous examples in Turkey and in some other countries as well. You're right.
Thank you. I'm Nagif from the Islamic Development Bank. Very interesting area in innovation, social innovation. I'm just wondering, as you know that even the previous session we all talk about angel investors and the venture cap, and they're very interested to support the profit-making enterprises. How do you make sure that you get the funding? And I think this is one of the biggest challenges. And my question also to Sarah, right? How much patience and perseverance you need to have to really run a social enterprise when you know that you actually face a lot of problem in getting fundings, and so how much passion a person needs to have to really go forward and establish a social enterprise and start creating impact?
Very good question. Thank you. I'm a very impatient person, by the way. I learned to be patient throughout this journey, really. You have to be innovative yourself to sustain the enterprise. I mean, I'm consulting UNDP at another project that no one knows actually, a project on security. For the last year and a half, all my income is coming from that project because I'm supporting Gelecek.net through Mikado. So I'm not taking any salary from Mikado to invest in Gelecek.net. I'm finding another income source for myself, which is again a development program. Of course, I'm enjoying doing it. So you have to be innovative yourself. If you believe in your cause, you learn to be patient. It comes to you. If you have the urge to do this, to continue this whole thing, you somehow find the way. But you have to really believe in it. I mean, you have to believe in the cause, and you have to see the positive outcomes of it. When you see the positive outcome, this is promising, and you can at least foresee that some other things, good things will happen in the future, and this gives you like it feeds you to stay there.
I'd like to ask Flor, how do you motivate people? Actually, can you suggest an innovative method to gather people together for a shared target or vision? I mean, both in social innovation matters, let's say, but also in other areas, in other sectors. How do you convince people to work together?
When, for instance, we recruit people for our volunteering work, there are a couple of ways to do that. One is that sometimes numbers helps a lot. So to give them a reason, and show them why there's an issue, for instance, for STEM agenda, for the work that we do in science education. I tell about PISA scores in Turkey and how Turkey is like number 45th in the 63 OECD countries, and what we shall be doing. Or sometimes it's just about emotion, I show them a picture that I've taken of a public school, which says science and technology corner of the class, and just as pictures from retail companies, brochures of PCs and smartphones, and that's the technology and science to them, So, and I showed that picture to many of our friends who might be interested. So it differs. So some people are more emotional, so you go through that path. Some people are looking at facts, and they look at numbers, and you motivate from there. But at the end of the day, it's more important, and that's how Hakan told me, teach me actually, is you have to go. Okay, so it's just one step. To do activity. So when you do a first activity, then the others come behind that, So those all volunteering work and those all things that has a tag social, When you have the feeling, then that's the only thing that I think you should be doing, and I think that's why Suat and Sarah is on this field a lot, because they are feeling it a lot, and they are working on this area a lot, and they are getting the energy from other people. And we were just speaking before the session with Suat, is that people nowadays share their sadnesses and anger through Facebook and Twitter, but nobody gets to involved in NGO work. And it's important, if you go to an NGO and work and volunteer for them, you share that sadness and anger, and it becomes something positive. And I think that's the other element to convince people to do this kind of work.
I think we have one question, more questions.
Thank you for the presentation. I would like to ask a question to Ms. Seratitis. I would like to know the sustainability of your system because you are challenging something which is quite hard if you consider the current education system. Do you track the people that you get in touch with? Do you track how did they do after they consult you? Because you are giving this consultancy to the people at the age between 14 and 25, I believe.
30.
Yeah, or 30. Thank you.
The second part of the question, train people? What
no, how do you track people?
My people? I mean my team?
No, the people that you got in touch with, the people that came to you for consultancy.
Yeah.
What kind of feedbacks do you get after?
Okay. So the system, the sustainability structure of Mikado is coming from the income we are getting by consulting companies. But the fees we are getting are not, you know, what we deserve, of course, as you can imagine, to convince companies to do something innovative with them, to create models. We actually partner with them and we also learn from the process. So it's not profit-oriented, but at least I'm covering the costs. But there is an income. The income is coming from these consultancy services. Also to some NGOs we are working, when they're private NGOs, we might get some fees. Like 40% of our work is voluntary at the same time. At the Future is Brighter part, we've been like building up expertise and know-how throughout the years through developing and running projects on youth empowerment. So I worked at youth NGOs before establishing the company. And I'm training myself too, by the way, to learn more. And my team also is always on training. So we are building up on our knowledge. So the services we provide to people, to companies and to youth is coming from the know-how we have, but we also are trying to improve the know-how we have. And we are using technology partners at Gelecek Dahanet. Like the online trainings are being provided by already existing trainings that E-Nokta already has. It's in their platform. They're already accredited trainings. But the youth empowerment programs or camps we are doing, we develop the curriculum and we deliver the trainings ourselves with our experts. We have trainers, we are 5 people in our team, but we also have a pool of experts, pool of trainers, especially on personal development. So they come join and they take part in the trainings. We're not doing everything by ourselves. We always partner with people and organizations.
Okay, I think we completed our session. But before finalizing it, I want to thank 3 people. First of all, I want to thank Professor Günay to give us a chance to conduct this panel in Boğaziçi University. Second, I want to thank all of the presenters here for their inspiring and interesting talks and speeches. And of course to you for your active participation and support. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, in order to keep up with the program, we are not giving our break and we need to continue with our third panel. So I want to invite our chair and panelists, Professor Emine Nurgünay, Ms. Burcu Özpak Güleç, Mr. Salih Ergut, Mr. Faruk Malhan, Professor Orhan Alankuş, and Assistant Professor Emrah Şener.
Şu anda yükselen bir konu. Yani internetten araştırınca eminim karşınıza bir şeyler çıkacaktır.
Teşekkürler. Evet, güzel. Dear distinguished guests, welcome to our panel titled Innovation Hub Istanbul. I would like to thank Istanbul Development Agency for organizing this session. And today we have very distinguished panelists, and I don't want to take too much time, so I will leave the floor to Burcu Özpak Güleç
for her presentation from Istanbul Development Agency.
Hello, everyone. On the behalf of Istanbul Development Agency, I also want to thank Boğaziçi University for our collaboration, and I want to thank our guest speakers for their kind contribution today. Today I will make a very short presentation about Istanbul Development Agency and how we approach to innovation and creativity. Since 2006, 26 regional development agencies have been established all around Turkey. And what we do is basically, according to the local needs, we support socio-economic development. And we are trying to coordinate all the efforts in our regions. And we are trying to set a shared vision for each region and try to bring all stakeholders around this vision. And these are basic duties, and I think most of you are familiar with it, so I won't give any details about them. But regional agencies have basically three bodies. And this brings a new governance model in Turkey. One of them is Development Council, and Development Council is composed of 100 members of the leading institutions, non-governmental and governmental, and universities from all from different sectors. This is an advisory body. It gives advice to the executive board, which is composed of 8 members, now 7. I will tell who they are in my next slide. The Development Council comes together at least 2 times every year, and the Executive Board comes once a month. And the General Secretary is composed of 5 units, all executing the decisions of this board. And we have units to execute all policy life cycle, from planning and programming to implementation of these programs and monitoring and evaluation. If we look at the executive board, this is Istanbul Development Agency's board, you will see that the major institutions are presented at this board. The chairman is governor of Istanbul, and 2 primary institutions who are responsible for economy are also represented, and 3 of the members are coming from the Development Council, selected for 2 years. What the agency does that, agencies are unique bodies in Turkey, not linked to any institution, just coordinated by Prime Minister of Development. We execute whatever the board tells us. But we have some boundaries, limits, which is basically the plans, regional plans. The regional plans are just in between the national development plans and environmental plans, according to the law. What we do at regional plans when we prepare them, we look at the local needs, we bring all the stakeholders, necessary stakeholders together, and we take into consideration the national strategies, and we try to develop our regional plan. Last year we prepared 2014-2023 regional plan. we managed to reach 1,500 citizens and 450 experts throughout this process. And throughout the process, we realized that innovation and creativity are embraced by almost all professions. And this is the vision what our stakeholders determined. Unique Istanbul, city of innovation and culture, creative and free citizens. And the plan is quite detailed, bringing one vision, 3 development axes, 23 priority areas, and almost 500 goals for Istanbul. I won't go into detail for that, but just to present innovation and creativity is a preeminent concept in the plan. I want to show you the development axis. The first axis is innovative and creative economy, and the second one is inclusive and learning society, and the third one is unique urban spaces and sustainable urban environment. Of course, the plans have spatial dimensions, and also they link the other regions and Turkey. Our next duty is to support initiatives in the regions and foster socio-economic development through them. We have support tools as Istanbul Development Agency. We are using only direct financing support. If you look at our financial support for the last 4 years since 2010, you may realize that innovation was a prior topic. Knowledge-based economic development, innovation, eco-innovation were our some support programs. But innovation has been an horizontal axis included in all support programs, and since 2010 we have announced support around 430 million Turkish liras. These are just small, I will give you fast examples from the knowledge-based economic development program. These are completed projects. This one is given to All Telecommunication Businessmen Association. Project name is User Experience and Applied Telecommunication Education and Test Center. Another project was Technology Transfer and Entrepreneurship Center to Boğaziçi University. Another one was ARTEV, Research-Based Intellectual Assets Management Platform to Sabancı University. Another one was again to Boğaziçi University, Life Sciences and Technologies Istanbul Cooperation Platform. Another project was Industry University Partnership Center and e-platform to Yıldız Technical University. Knowledge-based global competition project to Istanbul University. Project Development and Application Lab in Industrial Products Design, Application and Research Center to Mimar Sinan Fine Arts University. Technology Transfer Office to Istanbul Şehir University. And Istanbul Financial Risk Management Lab to Özyeğin University. And SMEs and Designers Matching based on qualifications and needs to Istanbul Technical University. Archivist Digital Documentary Library to Association of Documentary Filmmakers. These were some of the projects that we have already financed. What we do is we don't only finance projects or prepare the plans, but we develop some strategies and policies at prior topics in our regions. And one of the strategies that Istanbul Development Agency is working on is Istanbul Regional Innovation Strategy. I won't go into detail, but I want to say that now we are at the process of analysis. We are trying to improve our understanding on Istanbul innovation ecosystem, and we are trying to complete the current situation analysis. We are trying to define the current situation, capacity, the potential, the needs of universities, private sector, public sector, and the society all separately. Our surveys and research is still going on, but when we conclude the surveys and the research, we hope to start a strategy development process, and we will develop the regional innovation strategy document and its action plan, and we hope to develop a monitoring and evaluation system with it. Before I conclude my words, I won't go into detail as I told you. I would like to invite everyone at this strategy development process. I hope you will be with us at that time. We will invite you all. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Our second speaker is Ümit Yayla from AVEA.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me. It was a chance to become a panel speaker in Boğaziçi University because I graduated from Boğaziçi University from Electrical and Electronics Engineering in 2000. I have been working in 14 years in telecommunication industry. First of all, I worked for 8 years in Turkcell. Right now, my 6th year in AVEA. I am business analysis director. I'm going to tell you what we are doing for innovative purposes to have an innovative culture in the company, and what we are doing to have the smaller and the startup companies to help them to grow their business, and also to encourage private and public sector and universities and research institutions to become much more innovative. First of all, as you know, we are working in service sector, so to R&D and innovation has different dynamics, because as you know, we are working in a dynamic sector, so the market is very fast, and from as member of the service sector, we should deliver the products as soon as possible, and waiting for the innovative products and creating new innovative products is small portion of our business, because we should select the much more well-known products and to take them as soon as possible into the market and serve the benefits of the product to our customers. But beside that, we are the first operator, as you know, maybe you don't know, first operator to receive the Research and Development Center certificate from the government, and this is our 4th year with this certificate. What we are doing in our employee perspective, what we are doing to encourage our employees, we encourage them to come up with new innovative ideas for every year. And with that ideas, we have a council to evaluate these ideas, and after that, the selected 3 of them, for example, we gave them chance and invest money for their projects to implement them, and usually with the teams that proposed the idea, we go with them. This year we have an example in GSMA world. With one of that idea, we were in the final. We lose it, but we were in the final with an idea of our employees. This is what we do for our employee perspective, and in every year we repeat this because we put a KPI in our scorecards and assigned one of our director to that KPI, and he is leading these kind of council and these kind of collecting the ideas from our employees. And the other thing what we do is we established Avea Labs in 2011. And with Avea Labs, what we are doing is we are following an open, innovative approach, actually. And we know that we can't have all the talents in our company, and also nor is it necessary. So we establish long-term partnerships with global research institutes such as MIT and Bilkent University. What we are doing with MIT, we collaborating with research teams and at Mobile Experience Center, and this is a joint work and supported by weekly conferences and coming together in every month, for example. And Bilkent, we are first to have an on-campus lab space. I am not leading Avea Labs. If I were, I was having this campus maybe in Boğaziçi University. But I'm going to push my colleague to have it in Boğaziçi. And what the other thing is, we are participating in European Union EU Framework Program 7, and we have two projects, Moto and Crowd. Moto is an offloading project, which is device-to-device communications for content delivery between the customers. And Crowd offers new ways of handle cloud computing. And the other thing what we are doing is we are first in opening a private incubation center in our sector. What we are doing is usually it's very difficult for smaller companies and startup companies to sell their products to enterprises, because as I told you in my speech in the beginning, we are usually going to the best products in the market. Because with the startup products and the innovative products, we have discontinuous support. Maybe further development of such products is very difficult. So we are helping startups in their products with our technical domain experts and business guidance. And we invested $30 or $35 million to our test network, which consists of IT and network infrastructure in it, test lab. With that infrastructure, a startup company can work in that environment, and with the product that they developed in that environment, can operate in any network operator. So we are inviting companies on call basis, and we will have a new call very soon. Let me give you some example with the companies that we invest on. For example, we have had 5 companies. They have been very successful in delivering products. First one is Linksa. Right now, their products monthly, close to 200,000 euros saving in the network side, and it was an investment of our ex-CEO, Paul Doni. Maybe you heard about him. And the second product is Intellica, complex event processing product, which is, for example, we are listening all the network and the IT nodes, the events that our customers is doing in real time. For example, they are sending 3 SMS, but they don't have any SMS package on the account. So we are offering them SMS package after he is sending or she is sending the third SMS message. And this is the product that come up with our incubation center. Right now they sold it to foreign companies, the other operators, and 6 banks. And right now we are using one of the application. And the third one is we selected 5 of them, and two of them was the Intellica and the Linksa. The third one is Havuz, first Hadoop platform, and with the product we sold it to the banks. It's on a map. It's showing the crowded areas of our customers, for example, and with that map, a bank or other shops, maybe they plan to open new shops to that locations. And the fourth one is Byte, location-based femto app. And what we get in return from our incubation center, as you know, surrounded by innovative ideas and companies, differentiation and cost optimization, and help local alternatives to global vendors grow. And my last part is a suggestion, maybe a general startup comments. Maybe there is good amount of public funds in Turkey. Thank you. TÜBİTAK minister funds for startups, but usually startups lack of mentoring and marketing support, and because of that reason these kind of incubation centers is very important. I suggest to have all the companies to these kind of incubation centers in Turkey to help the startups and growing companies. And with the incubation center, we can give them mentoring, marketing support, co-working space, investor meetings, legal consulting. I heard about in USA these kind of locations they have. We have some universities, as you know, Yıldız University, Istanbul Technical University. They have these kind of tax-free areas. The companies are opening their companies in there, but they do not give any support for these kind of marketing and mentoring and investor support. Maybe we should add these kind of events to add functionalities to these campuses. And last one is TÜBİTAK initiated a new funding, 1512B. Avaya is selected as one of such partner companies, and companies will be evaluated by TÜBİTAK and partner companies. This way, startups will be ensured to get support from related company. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Our third speaker is Emrah Şener from Versiyon University.
Hi. My presentation is about Istanbul Risk Management Laboratory. It is one of the projects supported by Istanbul Development Agency, 2012. And actually I put the title 3G University and Story of Istanbul Risk Management Laboratory because the idea behind this 3G is Istanbul Risk Management Laboratory is not part of any department under Versiyon University. It is directly operating to board of members at the university. It's one of a unique structure you might find under a university. So a brief story about this one. You might see here major laboratories and funds under universities, right? This is quite a new phenomenon that started after 2000. And one of the most successful example under the universities under MIT, it's called Laboratory for Financial Engineering. It is headed by Professor Andrew Law. It's one of the top academicians, published quite a lot at the top journals. At the same time, he has his own hedge funds, recently acquired by French investment bank, Societe Generale. And this unit under MIT, Laboratory for Financial Engineering, is roughly every year it's making around $20 million for MIT, just for the outside project. So I can give you an example that actually JP Morgan, right? JP Morgan, one of the biggest investment bank in the world, for risk management algorithms, they are solely coming to Laboratory for Financial Engineering, and instead of hiring hundreds of people to develop algorithms for them, they delegate this one to Laboratory for Financial Engineering under MIT. So primarily these algorithms that JP Morgan asked is developed by the PhD student and the faculty members. So effectively, MIT is making money out of this one, and because 20 million is a good money for a university. At the same time, JP Morgan, maybe if they invest their time to build this department, maybe they might spend around $100 million, right? Quite cheap for them. So industry and academia, very interesting relationship. As one of the first examples, successful example is under MIT. The other one you might find quite interesting because MIT objective is not just only developed algorithms, at the same time publish their results at the top journals. Okay, so they have the practitioner orientation at the same time academic orientation as well. However, when you move to Harvard Management Company here, they are managing around $20 billion of Harvard's money, right? So Harvard is Harvard's revenue every year, 1/3 of the revenue operating expenses is actually paid by this Harvard Management Company. This is, they are just managing money as buying and selling stock, bonds, real estate. They're making money for Harvard and they're providing scholarship for the student. They're paying the bills for the school. So this is one of the top portfolio management company in the world, because roughly since they started their operation 20 years ago, their average is around 20%, which for a developed market is quite a big return for every year, right? So, but their intention is not to make any academic publication, just a portfolio management. So you might find the other example, Oxford, they set up an institute called Institute for Quantitative Finance. They are valuing startup companies, right? So the other one is LSE and Imperial College. Under Imperial College Risk Management Laboratory, they made last year for university around 10 million pounds. So how do I know of this institution inside? Because I got my PhD from a joint program of Imperial College and LSE. So how the PhD program works under this program, when they get you to program, instead of putting you into theoric program, they put you into investment bank and they start training you within the investment bank, right? This is quite an interesting a program, because if you want to bring university closer to industry, you need to make a connection, and PhD students are good connections. So this is the story about Istanbul Risk Management Laboratory that we set it up at Versiyon University with the grant that we get kindly, generously, Istanbul Development Agency. So you might hear, you might see that in a typical university, you will gonna find academic research, and then you join to the Wall Street or city or to an investment bank, and then you have to do the research, and then you move to trading or risk management. But however, with the new university definition that we have right now, is that 3G universities that you see all these labs, you find an academic research and application that you can find in the banking industry, and then you call it applied research. You can sell your products to the banks immediately through your PhD students. So currently we have under Istanbul Risk Management Laboratory 5 PhD students, but across Turkey, London, and Russia, we are cooperating with the 20 PhD students. We already start developing our product for 10 different institutions, and 3 of them is in London. One of the examples that I want to give you is Central Registration Agency. If you go to mkk.com.tr, you're gonna find an index called Risk Appetite Index. This index has been awarded in London, one of the top big data projects. In this project, what we do, we take all investors, which is around 600,000 investors, and we evaluate them in 1.5 minute time. We can get risk profile on an aggregated basis, right? So portfolio manager, asset managers, and regulators are using this one to judge what's happening in the market. So from a practitioner point of view, you can use this one as how to allocate your portfolio, because what you see here, the red line, if it's above the red line, this means that you have to invest into stock market. If it's below, you should get away from any risky asset. But the interesting thing is that last year, when we developed this one, the stock market went down by 15%, but this index generates almost 25% in plus. I mean, when the market is going 15% down and you are making money of 24%, it's a good money. From the practitioner point of view, this is a good index, making money, but at the same time, for academic point of view, if you want to publish something out of this one, we have one article coming at Review of Financial Studies out of this data that we have, is because we have quite a bit of foreign investor participating in this, in our market. 1.5% of the investor is controlling almost 60% of the assets in equity market of Turkey, right? So this gives you a perfect laboratory to measure any standard asset pricing theory, because standard asset pricing theory in our field tells us there is a homogeneous investor. Homogeneous meaning all the investors are the same. But in Turkey, we have foreign investor coming from England, Luxembourg, USA, Japan, and we have the local investor, Turkish investor as well. Their behavior is not the same. And 1.5% of this foreign investor is controlling 60% of our assets. This gives you a unique laboratory to measure any standard asset pricing theory in this field. So we have some theories here. I don't want to get into details, but we get very interesting stories from here. We start writing this one. At the beginning, we thought that this is going a very a simple theory behind this one. But as we send it around, many professors that we interacted told us that this is very interesting, try to elaborate this one. Every time we elaborate, we get a more interesting feedback. Now it is at one of the top journals. So my point is here, Istanbul Development Agency, apologies, I'm not a good public speaker, I'm really sweating a lot. It's like showering, a little bit excited. But the thing is that I want to tell Istanbul Development Agency is definitely doing the right thing, okay? They're picking up the universities and they put a target for us. In our to-do list, performance criteria, they told us that you have to interact with the 10 institutions and you have to develop 3 solid projects, right? So we had to do this one. Otherwise, we were going to fail from the project. We were going to never have a chance to get another grant from this institution. So putting a pressure to get closer to industry is a very successful idea. I want to thank again to Boğaziçi University to kindly inviting us. At the same time, Istanbul Development Agency. And I'm hoping that more and more people will going to realize that from the academic field, there is a publication opportunity. At the same time, there is an opportunity to sell your products to industry. So it's a win-win situation. PhD students are learning practitioner stuff, publishing. At the same time, the banks are getting products that are making money for them. It's useful for them. So our money is not actually Central Registration Agency at some point was planning to get a product from Chicago Board of Exchange for over $2 million, right? They were planning to pay to buy an algorithm, but instead of this one, they decided to work with us. They are quite happy. We are happy, and we owe this one to Istanbul Development Agency. I want to thank again, and thanks again for listening to me. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Let's find my. Now, I'd like to explain you about automotive sector and why we need innovation in automotive sector. Or do we need innovation in automotive sector or not? First of all, let's understand automotive sectors is one of the biggest sectors in the world. In 2012, about 84 million vehicles were produced. And estimation for 2020 is 100 million vehicles. So there's a big increase in the production. Of course, this big increase is coming from China and from the developing countries, but still the amount is quite important. And it has a very important implication for the employment and for the R&D as well. It is one of the biggest sectors which does R&D, 90 billion euros per year for R&D. And global turnover of automotive sector is about 2 trillion euros. So if it were a country, it would have been the 6th biggest economy in the world. So it's a very important sector. But if you have a look at the production numbers, we can see that most of the production is being done by big companies. So we've got about 20 countries with 50 different companies which are doing this 100 million, 80 million production in the world. But if we have a look at the companies who are really doing this production, their number is about 10, 15 companies. And in this list, some of the companies are working together anyway, like Nissan and Renault are one company, Chrysler and Fiat today is one company, etc. So it is a very competitive sector. So it's not easy to be competitive in this sector. If we have a look at the European market shares, we see that again there are some companies and the market shares is not so big. For example, Fiat, we know there's a big company, its market share is only about 6.4%. Nissan is about 3.5%. So Toyota, for example, one of the biggest automotive companies in Europe, they've got only a market share of about 4.3%. So it's a very, very competitive world. If we have a look at the R&D share in the automotive sector compared with the other sectors, we see that in Europe and in Japan, with 25%, they are doing it's the biggest sector for R&D. In United States in 2012, the R&D share was a bit low, but maybe it was for year 2012. In United States as well, it is about the second or third sector which does the R&D. So for the R&D, also it is very important. And if we have a look at the R&D investment, for example, which companies are doing R&D investment, we can see that these are the automotive companies in the list for the R&D investment. For example, if you have a look, Volkswagen is the biggest company or the company which are doing the biggest R&D investment as an automotive, not as an automotive company, in all the world in R&D. And if you have a look at their, for example, in 2012, their spending for R&D is 9.5 billion euros. What does it mean? This is the total R&D that we hope to invest in 2020 in Turkey, with our hope to arrive to 3% R&D investment as our total turnover, with this very challenging objective. So they are already doing, just one company in automotive, they are already doing all Turkey's R&D investment that we hope to do in 2020. So it is a very interesting sector and it's a very competitive. Why they are doing it? We said that it's very competitive. They have to do this. So what's innovation? Okay, I'm not going to tell you what innovation is, but it is a new or significant, I'm just putting this definition because what I will explain will relate to that. It's a new or significantly improved product. It should not be only a product. It can be also service. It can be also a methodology. And we say that it should be implemented. So it should be turned to a value. It should be turned to a commercial value as well. So that's how we define innovation. But who are the innovative companies in 2013, for example? Boston Consulting Group has made a list. There are many lists. I have taken this list because there are many automotive companies in this list. We see Toyota, we see Ford, BMW, also GM in this list, Volkswagen, etc. as well. But I wondered, what is the indicator for being innovative for a company? What's the indicator? Why we select them as, are they really innovative or not? So what I did is I analyzed two indicators. I said that let's have a look. What is their operating profit in the years, and what is their R&D investment compared to their turnover? Apple is always selected as one of the most innovative companies by very different systems. So there are many different listings about innovative companies, and Apple is always there and is in the first three, etc. So if you have a look at Apple R&D percentage compared to turnover is about 3%. So it's not so high compared with other companies. But if you have a look at their operation profit is extremely high. It's about 30%. And for years it's like that. So operation profit, I thought, is one of the very interesting indicators for an innovative company, but not just for 1 year. It must be at least for 10 years, operating profit should be good. So if you are innovative, operating profit is quite important. Because, why? Because if you have a look at Kodak has done a lot of investment on R&D as well, but we know that it went to bankruptcy. If you have a look at GM, GM is also one of the companies who are doing a lot of investment on R&D, but we know that they have already bankrupt as well. So R&D is important for innovation, but intelligent R&D is important. So without R&D, especially in automotive fields, we cannot be successful. So we have to do R&D, but it must be an intelligent R&D, an innovative R&D. Otherwise, just doing standard R&D, you are spending a lot of money, you are investing a lot of money in R&D, but it may not mean anything. So innovative R&D and intelligent R&D is very important. So I also tell in other lectures how we do innovative R&D, etc., but this is not our lecture today. But we know that automotive sector is very competitive, continuous innovation is a must, radical innovation, incremental innovation is important, but also in 21st century, open innovation is a must. So I will give you some examples about innovation in automotive industry, but we'll see that they are the old examples. So in the new world, to be competitive, you have to be open. You have to be open to innovation and to open innovation. So you have to innovate also in innovation. So, for example, some typical innovations, 4T model. It is the first innovation maybe in automotive. So we can sell you anything you like as long as the color is black. So it is the serial production. But this innovation has lasted for about 30 years, but then GM, with Alfred Sloan, has created segmentation, a car for everyone and for every person. So in that case, GM has taken the lead from Ford. But this innovation, the innovation between two, has taken us about 30 years. So at that time, the time was passing very slow. There were change, but the change was very slow. Today, with this world, the change is very fast. So we have to find new ways. So what is the trend now, what they are doing? For example, if you have a look at the European R&D so as you see it in Horizon 2020, it is R&I, so research and innovation in mobility and transport. So it is one of the important subjects in Horizon 2020, and innovation is one of the important subjects in automotive. And for example, ICT. If we have a look at the applications of ICT, we see that it is always related to the transport, intelligent transport systems, intelligent cars, electric cars, hybrid cars, green cars, etc. So the concentration is on these fields. But we have to be also innovative. So for example, these are many projects from 2005 to 2014 about intelligent cars, intelligent transport systems, etc. So a lot of people are working with pre-competitive projects on these fields, and many companies are in these areas. Why? Because they want to, and this also open innovation, they want to have different ideas, innovative and new ideas. And if we have a look at the connected car market forecast, we see that in the future, this area and the new area, the innovation is autonomous cars, connected cars, it is the electric and hybrid cars, for example, Internet of cars. So it is not only the vehicle itself. The innovation we have to do also in business models. We have to do also in services. So there are many different areas which covers innovation in the automotive fields. So if you can do the whole value chain in the most innovative way, then you can gain something, you can do something. So the technology is changing. There is hybrid cars, plug-in hybrid cars, battery electric wheels, etc. So we have to be in this field and we have to be in this area. So if we have a look at the market forecast, for example, the basic forecast, even the most conservative forecast, they are saying that full electric vehicles in 2030 is going to take about 5% of the all sales, and hybrid 20%, and plug-in hybrid about 10%. So they are foreseeing that in 2030, so in about 15 years' time, all the cars sold, about 35% of them is going to be some kind of electric driving system. So the technology is changing, and this is the most conservative scenario. If we have a look at the other one, so there are some scenarios which are saying that about 8% of the cars is going to be sold like that, but I don't believe that. So I am more on the first scenario. But innovation in electric cars is coming, and it is very important. Here we already see some examples of BMW i3 and i8, and we see that design is very important also. Innovation in design is also very important. BMW has given us this example. What are we doing in Turkey in automotive? In which situation we are? So there's some picture now. In 2011, we are the 17th biggest producer in the world. I had a look at the numbers in 2013. We are again in the 17th level. Our production is around the same, and China has increased quite a lot. But in the light vehicles, in Europe, we are the first as the producer. And in Europe, in total production, we are the 5th level. So in Europe, we are not in a bad condition, so there's an important production in Turkey as well. So, but is that going to last? Or is that enough? We have seen the research in the world to which levels they are, and we have seen the research in Turkey. Which companies do we have? We have a total capacity of about 1.3 million cars per year. We are exporting about 75% of our production. So it's also important for production. And as far as the R&D is concerned, total automotive R&D centers is 52, the number, and 42 of them is the suppliers. So in supplier industry as well, there is some R&D. But of course, compared with that R&D that I have been talking about, they are very small and conservative. But the objectives are quite important. They are challenging. You know that our objective in 2023, we have to arrive to $500 billion for export, and its share of automotive industry is going to be 75%. And it means that increasing this export quite a lot. So we are doing many workshops. We are saying that with this situation, we cannot arrive this. So we have to do something new. We have to create our own brands. We have to do something innovative in order to do that, etc. So innovation in automotive is also very important in Turkey. So we have formed an automotive technology platform in Turkey with the companies, with the suppliers, engineering companies, the OEMs in Turkey. And we are developing the vision, mission of research. We are working together with the European technology platform on automotive, and we have concentrated mainly on 4 fields in order to do the research. And what we are doing is we are selecting the basic subjects and working together with TÜBİTAK as well. For example, this is not to read, don't worry, this is too small, but it's just from TÜBİTAK that we have worked together, and we said that these areas are important for automotive. They did a call for pre-competitive research, and there has been many applications in order to make pre-competitive research, innovative research together. So there's some work in order to create this environment, in order to create the innovation. And we have to do on the basic key technologies in automotive, really innovation, that's important. And universities have got to have some roles as well. So I've got about 30%, I've got about 30 years of experience in, especially on automotive world and in industry. So it's 2 years that I am in the university now. But I understand that universities has got to have a very important role in innovation and in order to help the industry for innovation as well. So Okan University is aiming to be an entrepreneur university, so 3G university. And we are trying to give the new skills for engineers, like being innovative, creative, entrepreneur. So we have a program, special program of 3 semesters, also certified by TÜBİTAK in order to give this entrepreneurship idea. And we have also formed a company, an entrepreneurship company in Technopark Istanbul, in Istanbul Technopark. And we have formed an incubation center, so we are doing the all the relations with the industry, and we are forming the ecosystem in order to have this kind of program. And it's very important to have the right balance with the left and right brain. Only left brain is going to have some problems. Only right brain will have some problems as well. So we are trying to create this right balance at the university. So we have a special program, Happy Life program, that every student have got to take. So it means that what they learn how to cook, they learn how to dance, they learn how to play music, etc. So they do sports, etc. So they have to not only left brain, but they have to learn how to use their right brain as well. We are concentrating especially on the area of intelligent vehicles, autonomous vehicles, electric hybrid vehicles, new technologies. And we are, I think, one of the first who did a pre-competitive project with Ford Coach System Tofaş for communicating vehicles. And I organized that project when I was at Koç Holding, without knowing that later on I was going to be working in Okan University. And one project, we have taken support from Istanbul Development Agency. It is for innovative industrial design and development. So this is very important. Innovative design is very important. And what we're doing here, we have combined iLab and design process. So we are doing innovative market analysis like customer journey, etc. And we are working on interdisciplinary team environment. So not only designers, but also anthropologists, etc., are working on the same team. Anthropologists, engineers, they are working on the same team. We are working with rapid prototyping system, innovative brainstorming techniques, creativity techniques, etc. So because design is very important, in automotive also it's very important. So we thank again Istanbul Development Agency for their support. So it is all these items are very important. Automotive, innovation automotive is very important. We have to do that to be competitive. In Turkey, we need to be innovative in the automotive area. I told you about some new areas, and universities have got to really help to be innovative in this field. Thank you.
Thank you. Our final speaker is Faruk Malham from Versiyon. The floor is yours.
Everybody is tired. The topic of our panel is Hub, Innovation Hub Istanbul. So I would try to remind where we are. I was in the spirit of Europe, a big congress in Berlin, and they were crying, the European community. The growth rate is low. The general national income is low, and there is no hope for the increase. And and they are one of the lowest in the world. And our country has something about double as the growth rate of the economy. So this is where we are in Istanbul versus Europe. And also in our region, we had Tehran in the old times, which had having a big role in the peninsula. And then we had Baghdad, we had Beirut, Damascus, Aleppo. They all collapsed. The capital is coming to Istanbul. The intelligentsia is coming to Istanbul. Mafia is coming to Istanbul. So now we are on the hot pot of the area. So telling a little about Istanbul as the hub, this is I would like to comment. The panel about social innovation, we are in need of the social change. And to speed up the social change, we need social innovation. This is one point I have to put on the corner. I'll try to make a very short summary and then try to give you some hope what had happened in one of the design-driven cities in the world, how people are happy. It will be about Bilbao. We had so diversified issues all the day long and diversified speakers all the day long. So it's not easy to bring everything here. I change all of my speech. What I would say is this: we should not mix. We have the decision mind and design mind. They are different. And when we had a session about entrepreneurship of innovation, it is right hand and left hand. You are either here or there. They are mixed. We need, when I was speaking about design in the year 70s, design industry, they said, what is design furniture? Is it something to be imported? Now we have, I don't know how many design faculties in Turkey. Everything is changed. So decision mind is a mind which is working with data and with assumptions, with hypotheses. And they come to a solution which everybody or all around the world could reach these solutions because there are no borders for the information. What is different is, of course, creativity. And creative mind is different from design mind. One is convergent, the other one is divergent. One is going with measurements and scale, the other one is going with non-measurement. We had to have the consensus about this very early in the morning. In short, as the communities in economy and in the sociology, we produce and we come into economic relations. This production could be commodity, the lowest level of production. Turkey should not be on the line of commodity production. The second stage is production, products, to produce products. This includes some design mind and some innovation. The upper level is, of course, the service. When you are with the innovation, with the creativity, with the design, when you are in the level of service, then you are more value-added disposition. Which is the higher one is, of course, experience. Many of us has the iPhones. Then he is selling experience. There is something one more, which is culture. When we add our culture to our innovation, then we are far away. Nobody can copy you. Nobody. And this Anatolia, Mesopotamia, and the pot of Aegean Sea, all the civilizations, are the masters of dreams, creativity. The very first gods and goddesses are from in this region, with Noh, with Simurgs, with Gilgamesh. And also mythologies. When the first time the Thousand Nights, the story was translated to the European languages, it stimulated Montgolfier and many other innovation minds in Europe. We had also lots of stories as Ali Baba or the Flying Carpet or the Jinn of Aladdin. They were all creative minds of this land. So what I say is this: we have a lot in this land with our culture, with our DNA. When we mention all of these, then I come to another point. We are all living in cities. Now we are in another level. The cities are coming now as Büyükşehir. This is another step in the European countries. They are going back to city-states. Thereon, the cities are states. What is related to what I say is Hub Istanbul, the Innovation Hub Istanbul is mentioned as the topic of this panel. So this is why I mentioned. Now the cities are trying to emphasize their existence, and they are trying to be a brand, and they are trying to brand themselves and their personalities. Now we, as the Design Foundation, are assisting two cities in Turkey. One is Tekirdağ, and the other one we are involved with Gaziantep. This is the first time it is asked from a design community to assist the city design. The young generation, maybe I am the oldest here, so I would say to be innovative, to have a creative mind, creative thinking, we need some other prerequisites. The city vibration, the vibrating city. This is important to give the energy. Now, in Anatolia, in Istanbul, there is the energy, but we have the ashes over us, and we have lots of social problems over us. Design-driven cities, design cities, are the most important topics in the Western world. This is all I would like to summarize, and I will let you see and experience what happened in 25 years to a very full problem and polluted city of Spain. Help. Sesini de açarsan iyi olur.
Bilbao was founded in 1300 AD, and its origin was fundamentally due to its strategic location as an inland port for the export of merchandise from Castile to the rest of Europe. The Bilbao estuary is navigable, thus giving direct access to the Bay of Biscay, avoiding almost 20 kilometers of overland transportation to the coast. This city of merchants boomed, initially thanks to the activity of the mines, and subsequently as a result of industrial activity related to steel and shipbuilding. In the 19th century, Vizcaya became the most industrial region in the Iberian Peninsula, with Bilbao at the head of the northern Cantabrian region. Over the course of the 20th century, Bilbao grew, becoming an increasingly important economic and industrial centre, leading to massive immigration and the appearance of numerous working-class districts. At the same time, financial, insurance and energy companies also clustered in Bilbao in order to serve the industry. As a result, in 1980, 49% of the GDP of the region was generated by industry and 36% by the services sector. But just a few years later, the decline would begin.
Good afternoon from the square of the Arriaga Theatre. At this very place on the 26th of August 1983, the incessant rain and the consequent rise in the level of the estuary were the cause of a true devastating catastrophe for Bilbao and many other localities in Vizcaya. Still today, the marks of the height the water reached in this area stand as reminders. Today, the area has completely recovered, and it is now bustling and welcoming with its many shops and pleasant terraces from which to contemplate its noble palaces and historic monuments. From Bilbao for the DMI, Virginia Berasategui.
The Guggenheim Museum Bilbao has been the catalyst of a transformation process that the city of Bilbao has lived through the last 20 years. It's not only a cultural center renowned internationally, but also an economic tool of development for the area and an agent of urban renewal, especially for this space of Abando Ibarra. We still keep distant memories of the time when this area was the site of railway tracks and port custom warehouses. And now it has been transformed into the cultural hub of the city, home of 2 major museums, a vibrant art district, and also the space for educational activities of both the Deusto University and the Public University of the Basque Country. It's also an actively used space for leisure for all the citizens of Bilbao. From the Guggenheim Museum Bilbao, Juan Ignacio Vidarte for DMI.
Burada turizmin nasıl katma değerli bir aşamaya geçtiğini görüyoruz. It is more value added tourism, it is congress tourism. The number of hotels, the number of guests, passengers, cruise ships.
This triumphal maritime entrance to our region symbolizes the essence of a people constantly seeking to tackle new challenges, find solutions, and forge links for the future between ourselves and the rest of the world. One of these links is Basque gastronomy, a gastronomy rooted in the Basque culture and based on the quality of the products of the land that can be seen from here, and which has won us international recognition, promoting all that is Basque to the highest levels. A gastronomy which means that the Basque country is now the region with the greatest number of Michelin stars in the world. And as ambassador of the gastronomy of Bilbao, Bizkaia, I feel proud of representing its excellence and prestige in all the continents worldwide. From the Hanging Bridge of Bizkaia, declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Aitor Elezegi for the DMI.
Zorrozaurre is the later urban regeneration project to be launched in Bilbao. The regeneration project has been designed by famous architect Zaha Hadid. While the area was once a hive of industrial activity, it has suffered an important social and economic decline, and currently fewer than 300 people live in there. However, the idea is that in the next years, it will become a point of reference for the new industry in the city. IDOM has been the first major company to settle in this area. We are an international firm that provides professional services in the field of industrial engineering and energy, civil engineering, consulting, and architecture. We have offices in 18 countries and projects in more than 100 countries. With a team of 2,500 people, our turnover for 2012 has been around 300 million euros. IDOM is itself a business project that is clearly linked to the future of the city. From IDOM, Luis Rodríguez Llopis for DMI.
Comfortable.
Emotion.
Perfect.
Pride.
Green.
Artistic.
Friendly. Modern.
Diverse.
Good taste.
Social.
Amusing. Cosmopolitan.
Unique.
Up to date.
Small big city.
My home.
Welcoming.
Bizim gençlerimiz de böyle şehirlerimiz için aykırı olmasını dilerim.
That old Bilbao, I won't forget it soon. That old Bilbao, just like a big balloon. That old Bilbao moon would rise above the dune, while Tony's Beach Saloon rocked with an old time tune. Those were the greatest. Those were the greatest. Those were the greatest nights of them all. No paint was on the door. The grass grew through the floor of Tony's 2x4 on the Bilbao shore. But there were friends galore, and there was beer to pour, and moonlight on the shore. That old Bilbao shore. Those were the greatest. Those were the greatest. Those were the greatest nights of them all. That old Bilbao moon, I won't forget it soon. That old Bilbao moon, just like a big balloon.
Thanks for everybody keeping here for such a long time.
Thank you. I would like to thank all our panelists for their interesting presentations and their valuable views on innovation from different sectors. And I really would like to thank you for still being with us, and we really appreciate for your interest and patience. Hope to see you, all of you, in our future conferences. And one thing for sure, my next destination will be Bilbao after the video. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.